strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glo Fiber. Lightning-fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glo Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glo Fiber. Simply brilliant.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willey Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now. Experience the hometown Chevrolet difference. Check out our huge selection of Silverado trucks, Equinox SUVs, and the latest Chevy models. Priced to move and ready to hit the road today. Plus, with the Hometown Advantage, you get free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty at no extra cost. That's real value and real peace of mind. Your Hometown Chevrolet is proud to be your trusted local dealer of new and pre-owned inventory, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Visit us today at 501 West Emmett Avenue in Waverly or start shopping online at yourhometowncHevy.com.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
When your home needs comfort you can count on, turn to the team that's been here from the start. At Affordable Air, you'll meet friendly faces with expert advice, working to keep your system running top-notch or helping you find a new heating and cooling solution that keeps your home comfortable without breaking the bank. Earning your trust every visit, every call, and giving you peace of mind you deserve. Call us today, Affordable Air Heating and Cooling, where affordability meets integrity.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm James.
We want to thank you for continuing to make the Root Sports and Fitness Center your headquarters for youth sports in Southern Ohio.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
The fan favorite pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger is back at Wendy's. Stacked with beer cheese, crispy onions, and a soft pretzel bun.
Nice buns, mate.
Boy, who fancy the song?
It's kind of like a pub on a bun, a pretzel bun.
She's the daughter of a city, she's the boy of a...
The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger, back for a limited time at Wendy's.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willey Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
The following is a presentation of Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer.
Three words. Football is back. And we are here at Unioto High School for a highly anticipated non-league showdown that we have had circled on the calendar since last season ended. Jackson and Unioto on this Thursday night to kick off week one. Should be a great one tonight here in Frenchtown. And with that, we welcome you to Unioto High School for some pregame coverage before we get going. Carson Francis and Shane Combs with you on Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Holzer Health System. Shane, glad to be back with you for another fall sports season. No better way to kick things off than a matchup between two great programs like Jackson and Unioto.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great to be with you, Carson. I know our SOSA team been talking a lot together over the last couple of weeks. I know it was exciting to get back in the studio with John Bruce there on SOSA Overtime. And you're right. I mean, I don't think you could draw one up better than this. Get a Thursday night, you get this type of facility, you get this type of atmosphere. Place is starting to pack up a little bit, and two really good football teams. It should just be a fun start to what's going to be an incredible fall season.
Yeah, and an incredible fall season it should be. We've already got a list of games mapped out to where we're going to be in the coming weeks. This is game 1 of 3 for us this weekend. We'll be at St. Trace tomorrow night, our Kingston National Bank SVC game of the week between the Pioneers and Logan Elm. Saturday afternoon, we're down in Gallipolis for volleyball action between Gallia Academy and Unioto. But Shane, before we get into talking about the football, I do want to just take a moment to recognize this is not only the start of a new season, but a new chapter here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority. If you didn't already notice, we have a new title sponsor, and we want to give a huge shout out to Holzer Health System for doing just that for us. Holzer Health System, you can find more about them or find a location near you by visiting their website at holzer.org or checking out their social media pages on Facebook or Instagram. And Shane, with Holzer and the rest of our sponsors, that's what makes all of this possible. You don't miss a second of the action thanks to Holzer Health System and all of our other sponsors that you just saw before we came on the air.
Yeah, no question about it. As someone who, is knocking on the door, 50 years old, I've been in education my entire adult life and coaching and teaching and now administration. I know how much high school sports depends on sponsorship, and that's what draws me to SOSA so much is our ability to do it the right way and get out and support the kids and the programs and the communities. And those sponsors allow us to do that and do it with the quality that we're able to do it at with a lot of our team behind the scenes. You and I just get on here and talk some sports. There's a lot of people doing a lot behind the scenes that make this all possible.
Absolutely, and again, we'll be shouting out our sponsors all night. We want to give them a huge thank you right away, and a big thank you to Holzer Health System once again for being officially our new title sponsor here at SOSA. We're just under half an hour until kickoff here at Unioto. So Shane, let's talk about the game itself that we're going to see. Jackson 9-3 last season, Unioto 11-1, coming off their best season in school history. These are two programs that have done a lot of winning recently. A clash of the Titans to start off the 2026 campaign.
Yeah, it really is, and there's two programs that I guess are somewhat in different spots, and they're trying to collide together in a similar tier of the competition throughout our coverage area. You take a Unioto program, Carson. I think this is a big deal for this program, getting an opening night game here and what they've accomplished over the last several years to have.
There we go. All right. So once again, just about a little over 20, coming up on 26 minutes to go until kickoff between Jackson and Unioto. We thank you for bearing with us during some audio issues, thankfully happening now rather than in game, but obviously, things like that happen. Want to give a huge shout out to our Kenneth Hay for being around to help us out with that. Kenneth Hay back for another year, running camera for us for quite a while. Always a big help. He'll have some he'll get some broadcasting reps as we get out through the fall as well, but always great to have him around hanging out with us. Let's talk about these two teams. Let's get back to talking about these two teams. We'll start off again with Jackson, 9-3 a season ago, the outright FAC champs. They made it to week 13 after getting a first round bye in the playoffs, beat Miami Trace in round 1 before falling to London. But a lot of turnover in Andy Hall's program. Bodie Wolford, your 3-year starting quarterback, graduated. Ryan Simons no longer in the program. Charlie Woodard graduated. The list goes on and on. Jacob Allen is at UNC Charlotte playing Division I college football. So you can call it a rebuilding year, but I know that Andy Hall might not necessarily call it that. It might be more of a reload for the Jackson Ironmen.
Well, that's just the expectation and the standard, I think, in the Jackson program. You mentioned some incredible players there that did a lot of winning wearing the red and white, and now they're off to college or doing some other things now as young adults, and it's kind of the next group turn to take over and go. What happens when you have some great players that you're naming there is you have some really talented young players that at most schools throughout our coverage area would probably be carrying that football, out of the backfield 20, 25 times a night, where maybe they're taking some JV reps, maybe they're in the 2 or 3 line of that backfield or on that wide receiver room or whatever it may be. Well, now it's their turn, right? They jump right in there. And I tell you what really jumps out at me is their ability to turn the page up front, led by Jay Sturgill, who I know you'll talk a lot about throughout the evening. So that's what really jumps out at me is you can see the tradition in the weight room, the tradition in the numbers, and that's probably what gives people the most confidence to know that Jackson's going to try to hit that reload button and go.
Well, if there's anything that Jackson might have going for them, it's that they haven't lost a week 1 game since 2010. So if there's one thing that's certain, it's that Andy Hall and his Jackson Ironmen know how to come out and win from the jump. And another thing that just speaks to the pedigree of this Jackson program, since Andy Hall has taken over, they've never had a losing season.
Yeah, no question about it. You mentioned the week 1 stat. I got to thinking about that in preparation this week. That shouldn't really surprise anybody because, again, with the program and the standard they set, a lot of that's that off-season work. A lot of it's into the preseason. I mentioned the weight room a second ago, your off-season workouts. You get guys really anxious and hungry as you get late summer and you get back closer to school. And now here you are ready on opening night. So, yeah, it shouldn't surprise anybody that a program like this doesn't need a whole lot of time to hit in full stride come week 1.
And the Ironmen will, once again, we talked about the turnover that they have. They'll turn to the incoming senior quarterback, CJ Crabtree. Saw some reps under center last season. In 2 games, he was 11 of 14 passing through for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. Played primarily receiver on offense, but he filled in for the injured Bodie Wolford a season ago. This is first season as a full-time QB. What can we expect to see from CJ Crabtree in his first and what will be his only year as the starting QB for the Ironmen?
Well, such a terrific athlete. Certainly passes the eye test. Listed 6'4", 190. I'd say those numbers are pretty close to true. Certainly athletically from a quickness standpoint, a strength standpoint, going to check all the boxes. But I'll tell you what really impressed me, Carson. I know you had a chance to talk to him a little bit in some preseason coverage. What a terrific young man. He gets in front of the microphone, and you can tell he's got a complete grasp of what his coaching staff wants and what needs to be done as a leader of the program. So when you have guys like that, again, you're able to turn the page a lot quicker than some programs can after a hard graduation year.
And again, a terrific athlete all around. I know you and I got to see him on the basketball court a couple times last year. Had a monster throwdown in our Sosa basketball classic last February. Yeah. So no shortage of athleticism by any means on that Jackson side. It's just, can they put it together with a lot of inexperience? And speaking of inexperience, let's shift over to talking about Unioto, because that's another team that graduated so much from a team that won 11 games a season ago, won just their second playoff game in program history. But one thing that's constant is the man under center, third-year starter, Isaac Coy.
Well, it gives them a lot to build around because, again, anytime you're experienced at quarterback, you just feel like you come into off-season workouts, you come into your preseason camps and so forth, just way ahead of schedule. He becomes another coach in the huddle, another coach at the line of scrimmage. If you know Isaac Coy, he's a great young man. He's a good role model for young kids, so he's going to be able to relate to his teammates of all ages. And that's important because this is a Unioto roster that's going to depend on all 4 grade levels there, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Well, speaking of the turnover that I mentioned earlier, I mean, there's a lot of big names that were on this Unioto team a season ago that are no longer in the program. The SVC co-offensive back of the year, Cody Braden, who rushed for over 1,300 yards a season ago, he's gone. Jackson Zikafus, who was a great receiver, the special teams player of the year in the SVC a season ago, he graduated. David Long, the SVC defensive back of the year. A lot of insert title here of the year players no longer in this program. Some linemen that have left the program. Liam Matthew, your kicker, as well. He's no longer with the program, but they're going to look to guys like Isaac Coy, who have been in this program for several years going on, to really lead this team throughout the gauntlet of a non-league schedule that Unioto has and on their quest for a 4th straight SVC title.
What's interesting about their roster, Carson, is the ability. Coach Hoops has a really unique ability to take kids throughout the junior high part of the program and into their freshman year, where a lot of programs will lose kids. He seems to get kids real comfortable to stay with it. And as a result, you've watched some freshman and sophomore groups come up and continue to give some depth. That's a running back room a year ago that went through all kinds of injuries. Now they've had the ability to kind of reload, and you're going to see a long list of athletes that can make some plays.
And on that list of athletes, one of the ones that I wanted to point out is Braden Harsha, who stepped onto the varsity football scene last year as a freshman and just tore things completely up. He's back for more in year 2.
Yeah, no question about it. They'll line him up all over the place. He's a big-time athlete. They'll put him in the backfield, hand it to him, pitch it to him on some sweeps. They'll line him up in the slot, get him out wide. Defensively, he can get involved, even special teams. The trick is, how many times can you get him different types of touches throughout a Friday night, or in this case, Thursday night, and allow him to impact the game.
Braden Harsha, a season ago, 16 catches, 288 yards, 6 touchdowns. On the defensive side, 19 tackles, had an interception in there as well. From a coaching standpoint, these are two coaches that, since taking over at their respective schools, have done a lot of winning. I talked about Andy Hall, never had a losing season at Jackson. Matt Hoops took over the Unioto program in 2020. He's been to the playoffs 4 straight times, 3 straight SVC gold balls. What do you think from a coaching standpoint factors into this game where, you know, you're facing if you're Matt Hoops, you're facing a coach like Andy Hall, who's much more experienced than you, but you've had similar experience in the sense of what you've won and what you've accomplished in the postseason. 2 great programs going at it. How does that factor in from a coaching standpoint?
It's an interesting topic, Carson, because different times of the year, I think I would answer that question differently. Here in week 1, I think it's truly the cliche of they probably have far more to worry about inside their own locker room than the incredible opponent that's going to line up across from them. The reason I say that, you and I have been out a lot the last 2 weeks watching a lot of preseason football, and I don't know about you. You and I talked a little bit. Even when you're watching some really good teams, it's been pretty ugly. Teams having trouble getting in and out of the huddle, and then they're trying to move guys around. They're trying to I really think week 1 comes down to organization within and who can come out and limit those pre-snap penalties, who can take care of the football, not make the big mistake, and Yes. Does your opponent impact that? Obviously, when you're playing a talented opponent, that's even harder to do in terms of not turning it over sometimes. But let's face it, a lot of those pre-snap penalties, that wouldn't matter if you're playing a junior high team or if you're playing the, Kansas City Chiefs, right? That has to do with your ability to organize yourself and to do those things right. Really pay attention to that tonight together, and we'll try to really highlight that for the fans, because I'll be shocked if that doesn't play a key role in this.
Absolutely. And, you talked about the preseason action, some really good scrimmages played all around our area. And I got to go down to my old stomping grounds at OU last week and go watch a 3-team scrimmage between Jackson, Circleville, and Marietta. Really cool experience to get those kids on a college football setting. Unioto scrimmage over here against Logan Elm, and then went to Miami Trace last week. So they got their fair share of quality competition before the season even starts, and I'm sure we'll see how that plays out when the rubber meets the road, when things kick off.
Yeah, you always wonder about the physicality too. Once you turn it up a notch into a real game in comparison to where, maybe how you're trying to pace some of your athletes through the preseason. You get into these scrimmages, and I hear coaches all the time say, man, you really want to get out there and you hit a little bit, and you want to feel like what it feels like to get tackled at the varsity level. But let's face it, you also don't want to get hurt, right? So the physicality is something that jumps out at me on the film. When I turn this Jackson team on, I've been pretty impressed with them in the trenches and their ability to really open up some running holes and so forth. And then this Unioto team, the thing that jumps out at me is their speed. They get out in space, and you watch a run, or you watch a little bubble screen, or you watch something, a little slant, and you think, oh, that must have been like a 7 or 8 yard gain. And all of a sudden you look up, it was a 25-yard gain. Their ability to hit the home run is something Jackson's going to have to really limit in terms of these Unioto skill kids.
Well, a big game to kick us off week one. Not the only game in our coverage area being played tonight, though. We've got a few games scattered all around to kick off the 2026 high school football season. And we have somebody at one of them, our Austin Hanna, down in Piketon as the Red Streaks host Northwest in a season opener. A matchup that they played a season ago ended up being a pretty good game. Piketon pulled away late. You also have Notre Dame at home hosting Hannibal River at Spartan Municipal Stadium. And then Ironton, who we'll talk about them later on in the season, but I think if you're familiar with Southeast Ohio football, you know that this is supposed to be the Ironton Revenge Tour, and it starts tonight over at Williamsburg, a battle between two high-powered D5 opponents.
I think the Thursday night makes a lot of sense. I don't know how you feel about it, Carson. This is one thing you and I haven't talked a lot about. I think it makes a ton of sense. In today's time, look, with film and stuff, everybody's scouting everybody. You get a chance to come out, put your kids in this type of atmosphere that we're in here tonight. And then what happens is, early on, when you're trying to stay as fresh as possible, you end up saving your bodies that extra day into week two. So I like it. I like the Thursday night atmosphere.
Well, we're just about 13 minutes away from kickoff here at Unioto. We'll step aside for a little bit, come back and get you closer to kickoff. Carson Francis and Shane Combs from Unioto High School. Sherman's getting ready to host Jackson. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
When your home needs comfort you can count on, turn to the team that's been here from the start. At Affordable Air, you'll meet friendly faces with expert advice, working to keep your system running top-notch, or helping you find a new heating and cooling solution that keeps your home comfortable without breaking the bank. Earning your trust every visit, every call, and giving you peace of mind you deserve. Call us today. Affordable Air Heating and Cooling, where affordability meets integrity.
Our employees
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
Experience the hometown Chevrolet difference. Check out our huge selection of Silverado trucks, Equinox SUVs, and the latest Chevy models. Priced to move and ready to hit the road today. Plus, with the hometown advantage, you get free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty at no extra cost. That's real value and real peace of mind. Your hometown Chevrolet is proud to be your trusted local dealer of new and pre-owned inventory, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Visit us today at 501 West Emmett Avenue in Waverly or start shopping online at Your Hometown Chevy.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willey Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top-quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm James.
We want to thank you for continuing to make the Root Sports and Fitness Center your headquarters for youth sports in Southern Ohio.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
The fan favorite pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger is back at Wendy's. Stacked with beer cheese, crispy onions, and a soft pretzel bun.
Nice buns, mate.
Boy, who fancy the song?
It's kind of like a pub on a bun, a pretzel bun.
She's the girl of a city, she's the boy of a...
The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger, back for a limited time at Wendy's.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glo Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber to the home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glo Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glo Fiber, simply brilliant.
We welcome you back to Unioto High School as we're just a few minutes away from kickoff between the Shermans and the Jackson Ironmen, a clash of the Titans to start off the 2026 campaign. Carson Francis and Shane Combs back with you here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System, our new title sponsor here at SOSA. Want to give once again all of our sponsors a huge thank you for giving us a chance to bring you all the action without missing a beat. Shane, again, two programs that have done a lot of winning here recently. We've had this game circled on the calendar really since last season ended, and now it's finally here. We get to see two of the top programs in our area go at it for real.
Yeah, to piggyback on what we talked about in our first pregame segment there, you know, with what Unioto's accomplished in their league play over the last 3 or 4 years, they're kind of ready to take the overall schedule to another level. And that's why this is a great opportunity, as I explained earlier, for them to get this type of opponent in here on a Thursday night opener. And for Jackson, you give them credit because they just reload and go. They're going to play the same type of schedule year in, year out. That's the standard that we were highlighting earlier. And that's what makes this really, really fun to see these two programs go at it. I mean, this place is filling up in a hurry.
Man.
The overall atmosphere, Unioto's got a lot of pregame things going on, emotional tribute to an official there earlier that had just passed. That was the crew chief of this outstanding crew. And there's some traditional things going on here. Just a really, really nice pregame ceremony and a nice facility. Two teams. This is going to shape up to be really good.
And there's been a lot of talk about, in years past, yes, Unioto has won a lot of games, but the big argument is look at who they've played. And now Unioto is getting ready to have an opportunity to show the rest of Southeast Ohio, people that doubt, the credibility of their strength of schedule, that we can play with anybody in Southeast Ohio, anybody on the other side of the field. This is Unioto's chance. I know Matt Hoops was very excited to get this game on the schedule. I know Andy Hall felt the same way. It's a 4-year home and home, so they'll alternate sites for the next 4 years, this being obviously year one, but an exciting opportunity on both sides.
Well, I think both coaches understand the opportunity you have here. Again, especially if you're going to put it in week one, and then especially if you're going to put it on Thursday night, it's going to draw the attention of a lot of media. It's going to draw attention of a lot of fans, not just your Unioto and Jackson fan base, but because it's on a Thursday night, people are itching for high school sports. High school sports it's unlike anything else in all of sports, in my opinion. I love some college, I love some professional sports, but when the calendar turns August, Carson, I think you and I share that love to where we just can't wait to get this stuff started. And you add all that up, and I think that's why you get this type of atmosphere. And yeah, I agree. From a football standpoint, both teams are going to grow, win or lose from a game like this here in week one.
As the Unioto Shermans take the field in front of their home crowd for the first time this season, the all-black jerseys, the white helmets. I just love seeing kids run out onto the field that first Friday night, in this case Thursday night, first game of a new season. It's just so exciting to watch the players. They're out there having fun. The fans are enjoying us. And you mentioned, Shane, just how the crowd is. There's barely, if any, empty seats here at this stadium. Feels like anytime we come to Unioto, that's always the case, whether it be football, basketball. We had we had maybe the best high school sports atmosphere I've ever been to when we did Unioto and Chillicothe in basketball last season. This is another game like that basketball game we saw last year where people have been talking about this for a long time, and it's going to draw an audience, like you said, outside of the two schools that are playing, people coming from all over just see two really great programs.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, listen, Unioto loves their athletics. They love their kids. And they put back into it. The facilities are really top notch here, and that adds to the atmosphere quite a bit. And what separates football on a football Friday night is, again, as I know we've been highlighting Thursday night, but what's on a normal football Friday night, I think what makes it different, Carson, is community event, right? It's you get the big band on both sides, you get the concession stands going, the boosters are involved, different programs are fundraising, and then you throw in the incredible crowds, the cheerleading, all of it, and it becomes really a community type of event. And then when you obviously put a good product on the field, as Unioto's been able to do here for several years now, that obviously draws interest. That interest at Jackson, that hasn't needed any help for quite some time now. They've always loved them some football there.
You know, a lot of programs say every game is a home game. I don't know a lot of fan bases that travel better than Jackson, a whiteout for the Ironmen on the road. They bring their inflatable helmet, their smoke machines. You know, they're coming out with something to prove too. They're saying, yeah, everybody's talking about, oh, they lost all these guys, but the standard's still the standard at Jackson.
Well, you look over there where their band's down on the one side, and then you look down the other. They're about 2 or 3 deep on the fence line. They certainly could have used more bleachers here tonight. So you're right. They certainly travel well and take the show on the road, so to speak.
Jackson 9-3 a season ago. Unioto 11-1. Both played into week 13 of the playoffs. A spot that a lot of teams in our area would kill to make it that far. Something else worth noting, Unioto has moved from Division 4 to Division 3, so already in week 1, a lot of playoff points at stake playing a fellow Division 3 opponent.
Yeah, there's no question about it, and what makes the computer points a little bit unique is exactly what you said about the division. You know, you start to move up and down division, that does create points. A lot of times in football, the computer doesn't really care how good the team is if they beat you. You know what I mean? So it's one of those where it's not only who you play, but it's who you beat. And when you take two teams like this that are going to go on to most likely, no matter what happens here tonight, they're almost going to accidentally probably win, what would you say, 7, 8, 9 games. So whoever wins this game is not only getting off to a great start, but they're also going to have the benefit of the points to follow the rest of the way out.
Unioto will kick off to Jackson to begin the evening. As you see the Unioto kickoff team getting ready to get lined up, it'll be Tanner Beam to boot things away for the Shermans. Christian Gillum and Dayton Callner back deep to return for the Ironmen.
Special teams, including the kicking game, have been elite for Unioto here in recent years. And Beam will, you talk about reloading, even with the graduation of Matthew, Beam will just reload right in. More than capable here on a calm win night if he chooses to strategically to bomb this thing down into the end zone, or at least inside the 5, or maybe they'll go with the strategic placement. Let's see what Coach Hoops has in mind.
We wait for the clock to officially set. Tanner Beam, the incoming senior, tees it up for the Shermans. They break the huddle. It's been a long off season, but we finally made it to week 1 here in the great state of Ohio. The first ever meeting between Jackson and Unioto as the 2026 season is underway. As Gillum fields it at the 2-yard line for the Ironmen. Gillum on the near side. Gillum's got a hole and he's tripped up just past the 35. A great return for the Ironmen, and that's where they will start 7 seconds into this ball game.
Well, that's the danger of kicking it deep with the athleticism at the return game. If you don't get it all the way there, you sometimes can out-kick your coverage. Sometimes you hear that in the punt game in high school. I think it's true in the kickoff as well. Nice athletic return out to the 40, and got an official timeout right from the start. They're going to make someone come out there pointing down. I couldn't tell if it was that Renner.
That is Renner.
Looked like maybe an equipment thing.
Pointed down to something on his cleat. He'll get that figured out. CJ Crabtree, entering his first full year as a starting quarterback, leads the Ironman offense out onto the field for the first time in 2026. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Ironman 40. Dayton Koellner in motion. Crabtree swings it to Koellner, and immediately he's leveled by Braden Harshaw. We talked about him a lot in the pregame. He makes a splash from the first play of the season.
Well, we talked about his ability to impact the game in every way possible there. You just see an athletic anticipation, kind of read the play and blows it up for the loss, making Jackson play behind the chains.
Called a loss of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15 for Jackson. Crabtree in the shotgun. Unioto loading the box defensively. Koellner in motion. They hand it off to him on the jet sweep. Koellner cuts it upfield and gets right back to the original line of scrimmage before he's wrestled down by a handful of Shermans. Looked like Donzel Newland was in on that play. Maybe some extracurriculars away from the play as well. 3rd down.
Yeah, going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity in a game like this. Kids have been waiting all season for this type of kickoff to get going. Just got to compose and compete a little bit, but you love to see both sides going at each other hard.
It'll be 3rd and 11 from the Jackson 39. And a stoppage in play before we get going, and it's a Jackson timeout. Just a minute and 6 seconds into the game, Andy Hall burns a timeout trying to get things right on this 3rd down.
Well, a little bit of what we talked about there in the pregame, week 1. I don't care how good a program, how good a coach you are, you're dealing with high school kids and you're trying to put everything together. A lot of it's just an organizational thing, getting in and out of the huddle. First down didn't go maybe the way you scripted. You play behind the chains there a little bit. You get 4 yards back. Now you're 3rd and long. Didn't quite maybe like the look they had or the play, and felt like it was important enough here. I always felt like Carson in the first half, you might be able to cheat a timeout or two. I think you do that in the 3rd quarter of a close game, that can come back and bite you in the 4th quarter.
The Jackson offense retakes the field on 3rd and 11, trying to reorganize some things and make sure they got everything right for this big 3rd down.
See how aggressive they here on the play call, field position game early here. Let's see what they got in mind.
3rd and 11, Crabtree rolling to his left, sets his feet, fires downfield, almost intercepted. Levi Beam on the coverage. Gets the deflection, and Jackson will punt it away.
Yeah, great anticipation for Beam. Understanding, we always talk about the wide receiver knowing where they got to get to the sticks. Oftentimes the defensive back, if you're equally aware of that, it gives you a little chance to cheat on your break, and Beam made an athletic play there.
Crabtree, the quarterback, will punt it away for the Ironmen. Harshaw back deep to return for Unioto. Lofty snap. Crabtree boots it away. A high kick. Harshaw gives it away. It takes a good bounce for Jackson. And down at about the 23-yard line. Parker Hill on the coverage on the punt. And that will bring out the Unioto offense led by their 3-year starter in Isaac Coy.
Good special teams from Crabtree there. Harshaw, I think, was originally planning to come up and then notice a lot of traffic. That ball, Unioto's fortunate. That ball just about got Unioto Sherman there. I couldn't tell if that was Wilson or not. When that ball hit the ground, that was close. But nonetheless, a good defensive stop for Unioto. Now Coy and company will take their first try.
Last season, Isaac Coy completed 57% of his passes, 1,390 yards, 18 touchdowns. Coy in the shotgun, Yusuf Wilson directly behind him. First down, Coy fakes a handoff screen over to Harshaw. Harshaw gets upfield, a nice gain of about 8 on the screen pass to Braden Harshaw.
Yeah, I love the play call early. Talked about create as many ways as possible to put Harsha in space, and good things are going to happen.
Sherman's quickly back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 1.
I don't think it's an overstatement to say he's about as explosive of all the around football players we have in our coverage area. He can completely turn the game on any snap, defense, offense, or special teams.
2 receivers on each side of Isaac Coy, 2nd and 1. Coy, this time he gives it to Yusuf Wilson up the middle. Wilson lowers his shoulder and barrels his way to a 1st down at the 40. Boys, Unioto glad to have him back.
Yeah, well, I mentioned in the pregame, they had a lot of injury in that running back room over the last couple of years. As good as they've been, that they certainly have been hurt in terms of depth. Good to see Wilson back healthy and running hard between the tackles there.
Yusuf Wilson, a senior, missed his team's last 9 games of the season due to an injury. In those 3 games, he had 116 rushing yards and 2 scores. New set of downs for Unioto, 1st and 10 at the 40. Harsha motions from right to left. Coy gives it to Wilson again. Wilson breaks a tackle. Yusuf Wilson, a gain of 5 before he's taken down by a pair of Ironmen, Ashton Seymour and Landon Rapp in on the tackle.
Yeah, a little bit of that individual talent we're talking about there. One thing you look for, that yards after contact, Wilson hits the hole. There's contact there. Would-be tackler right around a 1-yard gain. He runs through it and then able to fight forward. Turns a 1-yard gain into 5. Now 2nd and 5. The entire playbook's open.
Trips on the near side. Coy still in the shotgun. 2nd and 5. Coy fakes the handoff, swings it over to Harsha. Harsha trying to make a move, tackled by Cale Taylor on the near sideline. I'll say it was short by a yard.
Yeah, nice job by the wide receivers blocking out in front. How you come up in midfield, 3rd and short. A lot of opportunities here in the run game. We'll pay attention to where Harsha lines up. And also, don't forget about Coy's ability to use his legs. He won't do it a lot, but he usually does it effectively.
Jonah Renner in as an extra blocker for Unioto. Here's a handoff to Wilson. Wilson runs into some traffic, but it looks like he got just enough to move the chains for the Shermans. The official signal to move the chains. Yusuf Wilson extending the ball across the line to gain.
Yeah, nice extra effort at the line of scrimmage and good drive so far. A little mix of Wilson on the ground. Coy and Harsha using a lot of the short pass game on the outside to just keep the defense from cheating to the middle.
1st and 10 right at midfield. Yusuf Wilson in motion, a high snap. Coy screen pass over to Lakin Langoff. Langoff trying to get upfield. He's taken down by Dayton Culner after a nice gain. These short little gains for Unioto, not going for the home run just yet, but slowly starting to wear this Jackson defense down as they move the ball.
Well, great play design. They overload everything to our far side there. Coy even looks that way off the snap and then comes back to Langoff. Again, the theme is how many times can you get these young athletic skill kids in space? So far, so good for Unioto.
2nd and 4 at the Jackson 44. Coy drops back, taking a shot downfield. Is room service for Levi Beam, taken down inside the 10. A beautiful ball from the hand of Isaac Coy. Levi Beam right there to make the grab.
About 35 yards on the pass play. Coy off to a 4-for-4 start, hitting 3 different wide receivers. That time Beam on the seam route comes wide open.
First catch of the night for Levi Beam puts the Shermans at the 9, 1st and goal. Coy hands it off to Wilson. Wilson runs into some traffic and taken down after a short gain. Cale Taylor, one of the Ironmen, in on that stop.
Get down into the red zone, Carson. This is where game management, pre-snap penalties, not doing things to beat yourself. Get in and out of the huddle, get lined up. Don't make the unforced penalty. If you're Jackson, you want to see if you can get tough here and hold them to 3.
That is Lakin laying off rather out wide on the near sideline. 2nd and goal from the 7. Harsha in motion. Coy gives it up to Wilson. Wilson trying to get to the outside. Wilson pushed back and out of bounds. A hard-fought run by Yusuf Wilson. Jackson stands tall to keep him out for at least one more play.
Yeah, Wilson running hard's already carried it 5 times here on the opening drive, but this becomes a big play. Unable to get in here, early decision time for Coach Hoops. He obviously has as good a field goal kicking as we have in the entire area, but you know as well as I do, you get down here on an opening drive, you want to get 6.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the opening frame. 3rd and goal from the 4. Wilson behind Coy. Braden Harsha motioning from right to left. Coy fakes the handoff, rolling to his left. Coy looking, got Harsha in the end zone, who high points it for a touchdown. Braden Harsha climbs the ladder for a score, and that is a Unioto touchdown sponsored by the University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, what a big time play. 3rd down, got to have it. Where do you want to go? You want to go to your top target. Give great credit to Coy, the patience as he rolls out. He was able to slide just enough to give Harsha a chance to get one-on-one. Obviously, rules in the favor of the offense there. Just couldn't throw it up and let your athlete go make a play.
Tanner Beam to kick the extra point. A line drive kick. Splits the uprights. That'll make it 7-0. Unioto with 4:46 to go in the first. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm James.
We want to thank you for continuing to make the Root Sports and Fitness Center your headquarters for youth sports in Southern Ohio.
Unioto strikes first here in this season opener on Thursday night. A 4-yard touchdown toss from Isaac Coy to Braden Harsha puts the Shermans up 7-0.
Yeah, great start. You come out, you get the 3 and out, and get the ball right into the hands of Isaac Coy, and he leads a drive. He was a perfect 5 for 5 on the drive, capped off by that 4-yard touchdown to Harsha.
Beam a line drive kick and fielded inside the 5 by Christian Gillum. Gillum had a nice return the first time, and he's got some blocked. Christian Gillum lost the football, and it bounces right back to him. Fortunately for the Ironmen, that could have been dangerous. But nonetheless, Jackson in great field position at its own 44 to start this next drive.
No doubt about it. Both times, good return right. That time, I don't think he was going to go all the way, but he certainly had probably another 5 to 8 yards in him with the momentum he was getting on that little move coming back near side. And you're right, he just dropped the football. Luckily, bounced like a basketball right back up to him.
Jackson went backwards on their opening drive, had to punt it away. What do you look to see from the Ironmen in drive number 2?
Win first down. I thought the play on first down where Harsha got him for the 5-yard loss really hurt some of their play calling. Let's see if they can have a better first down game.
Crabtree fakes the handoff to Glockner, and Crabtree gets forward. A good keeper from the senior. I'll say he was just short of the line to gain 2nd and 1.
Yeah, way better right there. You get a positive play. Now 2nd and 1, your plus side of the field. Now they can open it up a little bit and let some of their new guys experiencing, this football varsity stage for the first time, let them take a deep breath and start to settle into the game a little bit.
I step for the Ironman. Crabtree hands it off. Here's Israel Schindler He gets a few yards before he's taken down. It'll be enough to move the sticks for first down.
Yeah, nice inside run. Only needed a yard, got a couple. 5'11" sophomore, 180. And he's someone that you talk to Jackson people, they're really high on. They say really watch him throughout the year. Once he starts to get, they think 50, 100 carries under his belt throughout the year, he's going to start to really come into his own.
Israel Schindler moving the chains. He's only a sophomore. A pretty big stage for your first varsity start. They go to him once again on first down. Schindler breaking a tackle before he lowers his shoulder and picks up about 6 on the carry. Credit Lakin Langoff with the tackle.
Yeah, and you were asking me at the start of the drive what I was wanting to see, and I just that's it. I wanted to see Jackson be a little bit more successful on their first down yardage. What happens so much, Carson, is when you're not successful on first down, you have to start to press just a little bit. Now that you're into the plus, that you're getting into 4-down territory, keep positive plays, keep the penalty flags off the field, and you can start to develop some momentum.
They'll go back to Schindler again on second down. Schindler shake and bake, gets forward and falls down inside the red zone. A sophomore bringing a spark plug early for the Ironmen.
I'd call that about 16 yards, and I'd say off the first 10 or 11, he was never touched. Just real well blocked right up there in the middle. You give Sturgill and Landrum and Bowyer and Gomez and Taylor a lot of credit. That's well done up front.
That's been one of the keys to Jackson's success over the years is the play of their offensive line. We'll talk about that a little more later on. 1st and 10 from the 19. Here's a handoff to Tate Rosler, who fights his way forward for a couple yards, taken down by a handful of Shermans, Yusuf Wilson and Blake Wynn in on that takedown.
Yeah, Rosler the junior, nice little move at the line of scrimmage. Unioto had it sniffed out pretty well, but Rosler able to make something out of it here to gain 3.
2nd and 7. Crabtree the handoff to Schindler. Schindler tried to lower his shoulder, but a force coming down the lane in the form of Blake Wynn again. No gain on the carry, 3rd down.
That's a big time play there. Right when you need it. Kind of put him into a little bit more of a passing down on a 3rd and 8. However, with it being 4-down territory, I wouldn't rule out the run. Remember, back on the very first play of the drive when Crabtree pulled it back, pay attention to his legs on a down like this as well.
3rd and 8. Crabtree, the handoff. Schindler breaking through some contact, gets close to the line again. It looks like he's about a yard short. Braden Harsha racing over to make the tackle. Called about 4th and a long 1 yard.
I was going to say they have 1 on the board. That's a lot closer to 2 probably. And what a big play this is coming up down there in the red zone. Jackson trying to answer that opening scoring drive from Unioto. Big play here as Unioto's crowd starts to sense the moment, get to their feet.
Under a minute to go, 4th and 1. And we've got a timeout called by Andy Hall to be his 2nd of the game. 2 timeouts in the first quarter. We're going to take that one with the Ironmen. We'll be right back. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willey Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Late in the first quarter, Jackson putting together a nice drive, but they face a 4th and 1 at the Unioto 11. What do you look to see from the Ironmen? Should they bring their offense out?
Well, I would be shocked if they didn't bring the offense out here. There's a couple different things. One, you got to pay attention to the hard count. If you're Unioto, you got to have great discipline here up front. But if you're Jackson, let's pay attention to the formation they come out of. And as I said before, let's pay close attention to C.J. Crabtree, that big 6'4" athletic frame, and him using his legs as well.
4th and 1 at the 11. Crabtree in the shotgun. Crabtree takes a snap, going to his left. Crabtree trying to get to the outside, cuts it back, and he's dropped. They're going to say he was short. Unioto's defense standing its ground. A big turnover on downs forced by the Shermans. But it looks like they might bring the chains out to measure this.
Outstanding job by the Unioto defense. They, with the formation, there wasn't a whole lot of secret what they were going to do. They were going to try to get in behind that left side led by Sturgill, and they're going to try to use Crabtree. Unioto was able to win the point of attack and get just enough penetration, kind of forced Crabtree to have to turn it back up inside maybe a little sooner than he wanted to, and a host of Shermans there to make a big play, and able to come out with the stop there just shy of the 10-yard line, or right at the 10-yard line.
They will not measure the play. Crabtree just short on the carry. Unioto taking over at its own 10, trips to the near side. Isaac Coy drops back, fires one to the far side, and it's incomplete pass intended for Blake Braden. Coy's first incompletion of the night.
First incompletion. Braden, another really athletic young skill kid that can play a little quarterback himself, probably get a chance to into the future. But at this point, now that he's a sophomore, way too athletic not to utilize in other areas on the field. So you'll see him at wide receiver throughout the evening. Already seen Beam and Langoff and Harsha with catches.
2nd and 10 at the 10. Beam goes in motion, a touch pass to Levi Beam. Beam trying to get to the outside, but that play is going nowhere. Landon Rapp flying into the backfield stops the speedy Levi Beam for a loss.
Yeah, nice job of setting the edge and understanding assignment football defensively, not getting sucked in, because if the speed of Beam gets to the edge, that's the design of that play. Jackson able to stay wide, and now 3rd and long. Unioto got to make sure they take care of the football down here deep in the territory.
Well, it looks like the Shermans will take this to the end of the first quarter. They face a 3rd and 14, but a 4-yard strike from Isaac Coy to Braden Harsha has Unioto ahead of Jackson 7-0 through 1 quarter of play. We'll be right back. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
Back here at Unioto High School, 2nd quarter getting underway. Sherman's facing a 3rd and 14 from their own 6. 7-0 lead on Jackson. Carson Francis and Shane Combs with you to kick off the 2026 season. 3rd and 14, Coy dropping back under pressure. Coy just gets it out. It's Levi Beam. Beam trying to get through. Ball comes out, and Dayton Culner falls on it. Jackson with a huge turnover on 3rd down. The Ironmen are in business in the red zone.
Yeah, going to give them anything they wanted underneath on 3rd and long. Coy did a nice job. He rolled out. He looked downfield, dumped it off to the speedy Beam, and a couple white jerseys get there and put a good hat on the football. Ball comes loose, and just what Jackson needed. Now let's see if they can convert on the short field.
I'll spot it at the 16. The ball slipping out of the hands of Levi Beam. Dayton Culner, Johnny on the spot for the turnover. 1st and 10 at the 16. Here's Schindler taking the handoff. draws a pile and gets about 5 on the carry.
Yeah, nice first down play again. And as I watch this game unfold, Carson, I just feel like Jackson's going to have their best success when they get north-south between the tackles. The speed of Unioto already showing up on offense also shows up on defense a little bit. Really difficult to get to the edge on them. They pound the middle just enough, they might be able to create something to the outside, but that's certainly where Jackson's had the best success is between the tackles to this point.
Tate Rosler to the left of Crabtree. Rosler gets the handoff, lowers his shoulder, gets through 2 defenders. It's going to be close. I'll say he was just short of the goal line. But a bowling ball carry from Tate Rosler sets up 1st and goal for the Ironmen.
Yeah, great formation. I talked about between the tackles. That time, you just throw a bunch of eye candy up top there in the formation, get some more guys out of the box, and then get real physical between the tackles. Thought he got down to the 1. Going to mark him at the 2, so I think that's going to be I'll have that as a 10-yard carry. 1st and goal from the 2.
Full house backfield for the Ironmen. 1st and goal, Crabtree, the handoff. Schindler up the gut. Schindler is in for the touchdown. Israel Schindler from 2 yards out gets the Ironmen on the board, and that's a Jackson touchdown sponsored by the University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, I can see why people are so high on this young man. His quickness and his good feet jump out at you. But I'll be honest, Carson, I watched him here in the first half. He doesn't lack physicality. His ability to run inside as well and finish the run, very impressive.
Tanner Jenkins out for the extra point. High snap, Crabtree gets the hold down, and Jenkins splits the upright. We're all knotted up at 7, a minute and a half into the second quarter. We'll be right back. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
The fan favorite pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger is back at Wendy's. Stacked with beer cheese, crispy onions, and a soft pretzel bun.
Nice buns, mate.
Boy, who fancies a song?
It's kind of like a pub on a bun, a pretzel bun.
She's the bar of a city, she's the boy of a...
The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger, back for a limited time at Wendy's.
Tanner Jenkins to boot it away for the Jackson Ironmen after Israel Schindler ties it up at 7, a 2-yard touchdown run. As Braden Harsha fields the kickoff just past the goal line for a touchback.
Yeah, just sneaks in on him there, and what a weapon that is with Jenkins. I talked about Beam earlier. Jenkins' ability to get that ball, Carson, all the way into the end zone, that takes the ability of Harsha returning that completely off the table.
So Jackson takes advantage of a turnover. A fumble recovery by Dayton Colner turns into a 2-yard touchdown run from Israel Schindler. Now Unioto looking to bounce back. They start at the 20.
Yeah, complimentary football. Defense gets the short field. Offense punches it in.
Wilson to the right of Isaac Coy, Lakin Langoff. Or no, that is Riker Larson rather in motion. Coy under pressure, gets it downfield, throws it away over the head of the freshman, Riker Larson.
Yeah, Larson, another terrific athlete that Coach Hoops has a lot of options. He too, young quarterback, can play that position a little bit, but as you're trying to get athletes like that onto the field, you'll see him utilized in the wide receiver position. That time, Coy took quite a pop when he let that one go.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 at the 20. Good job by the Jackson defensive line to get pressure on Isaac Coy. Larson in motion. Coy hands it off to Yusuf Wilson. Wilson met just past the line of scrimmage. Don't know if he got much further than that. A swarm to the football by the Jackson defense. Gain of 1 for Yusuf Wilson.
Carson, remember you and I had conversation about Jackson improving on first down, and as they were able to, their offense improved. Now Unioto, that's a couple first downs in a row where they had struggled to gain positive yards. Now they find themselves 3rd and long. Big play for Jackson's defense here to see if they keep momentum on their side.
Jackson's squad replacing 12 starters from a year ago. A lot of first-time varsity football players on that squad, and Matt Hoops going to burn his first time out with 9:40 left. And we will quickly take it with them. 7-all here at Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
7-all here with 9:40 to go till halftime. Unioto facing a 3rd and 9. Now, after that scoring drive from Unioto, this Jackson defense has kind of regrouped, and they're putting together some nice plays. One more for another 3 and out.
Yeah, starting to win the line of scrimmage a little bit and getting a little tighter coverage on the outside on some of the short passing game.
Coy drops back to throw. Screen pass for Levi Beam. Beam's got it, changes direction, and watch out. Levi Beam to the near sideline, taken down near midfield by Christian Gillum. I'd say that'll make up for the fumble he had on the last drive.
Yeah, no question. 29 yards on the pass play. Again, well designed. They look one way. Give wide receiver group a lot of credit blocking out in front. Good delivery from Coy, and Beam does the rest with his legs.
20 catches for 260 yards, a pair of scores for Levi Beam last season, the incoming senior. Yusuf Wilson to the right of Isaac Coy, 1st and 10 at the 49. Coy drops back, got Braden on the slant route through his hands, and incomplete. Christian Gillum on the coverage for Jackson.
Yeah, good one-on-one coverage. You're going to be tested all over the field against this Unioto wide receiver room because, again, we said Harsha, Langoff, Beam. There's Braden. We've seen Reichert out there. There's going to be a lot of different guys that Coy can spread it around to.
I'd say if you're Jackson, you're fortunate enough that Blake Braden wasn't able to get his hands on that because he gets the ball in the open field, he can go.
He can. That was a big timeout back on that 3rd and 9 play, too. I think they had 10 guys break the huddle. They had to use timeout, get organized, and obviously got the first down on the next play.
2nd down handoff to Wilson. Wilson gets maybe a yard or two before he's tripped up and taken down. Zayden McLeod, the one coming up off of that tackle, makes it 3rd down and about 8 for the Shermans.
Slowly but surely, Jackson's starting to shore some things up in the middle there, starting to get the Unioto game under control after a fast start over the last 6 carries or so for Wilson. Just 2 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard. So they're starting to do a little bit better job, and here we are back in 3rd and long.
3rd and 8 at the 49. Coy looking downfield. Got Harsha on the outside. It's incomplete. Looked like Harsha might not have been ready for that one. Can't hold on to it. Cale Taylor on the coverage. And Unioto will bring out the punt team.
Yeah, pretty good job of getting just enough pressure. Maybe Coy had to come off of his target a little quicker than he wanted to and get it out of his hands. Unioto does a good job of moving Coy around. If Jackson can keep him isolated in the pocket, again, they can get some pressure up the middle, and that can help their secondary in a major way, try to cover the skill kids of Unioto.
Well, Levi Beam out to punt for Unioto. Dayton Polner, the deep man for Jackson. Beam boots it away, end over end kick. Polner, fair catch, and fields it at the 20, where the Ironmen will start their next possession.
Good hands. Nice job coming up and fair catching. Just a little fundamental like that, Carson. You let that ball bounce, and it's hard to be telling what type of field position you're going to end up with. And again, not ideal field position inside the 20, but certainly better than letting that thing bounce down inside the 5.
You talked about a key to the game being Jackson winning first down, and I talked about how the turnover on this offensive line could be a little suspect for Unioto, but you got the guys like Jay Sturgill, Seth Taylor, who are both returning starters, really setting the tone for what this offensive line has done ever since that stagnant first drive for Jackson.
And when you say that, that makes a lot of sense on why they've had so much success running between the tackles north-south. You know, the times they've tried to get to the edge, I think that's where Unioto's team speed has started to show up a little bit. Here's a little wider formation again. Let's see what Crabtree has in mind here.
1st and 10, Crabtree fakes the give, trying to get upfield, gets a few before he's taken down. Just before the 20, Grady Goebel got his foot. Yusuf Wilson came to clean up the play.
Pretty solid game there on 1st down. Crabtree obviously capable of the run game. Even though he's trying to get to the edge there, just showing the inside handoff can kind of slow down some of that team speed to the edge and allow his big old tackles to win for him on the edge to get some room.
Call it a gain of 4 for the QB, CJ Crabtree. 2nd and 6 at the Ironmen 18. Crabtree gives it up to Schindler this time. Schindler is stuffed, gets a couple, but not much. Good job by the Unioto front to bring him down.
Big play here for the Unioto defense. Chance to really win some field position. Coming up on the 7-minute mark. Remember, Unioto get the ball after the half as well. So if you're Jackson, this is a big play, I think, in terms of time and score, something we don't talk about. We talk about it in basketball a lot. We don't always talk about it in football enough. Time and score, this is a pretty big possession play right here.
3rd and 4 for the Ironmen. Here's a handoff. Schindler stuffed up the middle. Jackson trying to pound it up the gut. The Unioto defense was ready for that one.
Yeah, nice job. I thought that play initially was blocked a little better than that. Maybe tried to get stubborn in the original hole there. Certainly had a little bit of space, but give Unioto credit. They got the stop they needed. Now let's see which special teams group can execute the best to win some field position.
Under 6 to go here in the first half. Tanner Jenkins to punt it away. Some eye candy before the snap for Jackson. And a fake. Direct snap, but Unioto stuffs it out. Tried to go to the up man, Cale Taylor. And the Shermans were ready for it.
Wow, what a big play that is. Didn't see that coming there. And Unioto sure did and had it snipped out. And just like Jackson did with the turnover earlier, got their offense a short field. Now Unioto defense / special teams able to do the same for Isaac Coy and the Unioto offense.
I like the aggression from Andy Hall, but now you give this potent Unioto offense a short field to work with. We'll see if the Shermans can make Jackson pay for that. They'll have 1st and 10 at the 22. Coy fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right. He's going to scramble upfield and dives forward out of bounds just past the 15. Good scramble from Coy.
So I talked about earlier, you won't see him do it a lot throughout his career, but when he does it, it's usually with good purpose, usually makes the right read. Very intelligent quarterback, and because of that, he's usually pretty efficient in his run opportunities. And there you see +6 on 1st down, sets up 2nd and 4.
Isaac Coy, 162 yards on the ground last season. Here's a 2nd down handoff to Henry Vallette. Henry Vallette shows off the footwork, taken down by Colner, but not before he moves Unioto inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal at the 7.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see this young kid run yet, he's really impressive. Runs hard. Just
they go right back to him. and gets about half the distance to the goal on first down.
Sorry, Carson, they went quick on me as well. But again, talking about how that young man runs really, really hard, going to be a nice compliment to Wilson.
He's second down at the 3. Vallette behind Coy. Coy fakes the give, tries to get into the end zone, but he's stopped in his tracks. Ashton Seymour lays the wood. And that brings up 3rd and goal for the Shermans.
Yeah, good read there from Jackson. Coy getting some success from his running back, thinking there's going to be a little bit more on the edge open there, and Jackson playing a good assignment football there.
It's a good read by Ashton Seymour, not falling for the fake. Yusuf Wilson back into the backfield for Unioto. They hand it off to him on 3rd and goal, and Wilson tripped up. There's a pile at the goal line.
Short.
Close fist by the official, signals 4th down. Unioto run heavy with the short field. Jackson standing its ground. But obviously at the 1-yard line, Coach Hoop's going to leave his offense out there, try and get 6.
Yeah, going to give the extra lineman here and try to get a little bigger package. Big play here as Jackson tries to survive the fake punt, giving Unioto the short field.
4th and goal at the 1. Coy under center. Coy going to keep it himself, but a timeout before the snap. Play clock at 1, and Matt Hoops burns a timeout. And we will quickly take it with them. 4th and goal at the 1 for the Shermans. When we come back, you're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
3:09 remaining here in the first half. Unioto with 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. They burn a timeout before they get the play off. Shane, it looked like we were going to have an Isaac Coy QB sneak. Do we expect Unioto to try and go back to that?
Certainly still on the table. Anytime you get down here, you want to try to get north-south, but you know Jackson going to try to maybe play off of that. A lot on the table here. Unioto's been able to spread the ball around throughout the evening.
Beam motions in. 4th and 1. Coy going to give it to Wilson. Yusuf Wilson lowers his shoulder and finds pay dirt. A 4th down carry from a yard out by Yusuf Wilson puts Unioto ahead, and that is a Sherman's touchdown, sponsored by the University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, great finish of the run there. Met right at the goal line there, and he's able to power his way through. And
we have a stoppage in play before the PAT. The clock's still running. About 20 seconds of game time. Yusuf Wilson's first touchdown of the season comes from a yard out, gives Unioto the lead. I said this earlier, but I know for a fact the Shermans were glad to have him back in that backfield.
Oh, no question about it. And you know, you throw in Vallette and you throw in some of these other young kids. It's just you hope that they can stay healthy and keep some of the depth they haven't had here in recent years. And Carson, you think about the momentum swing there. I thought on the 3rd down Jackson play and then on the fake punt, I thought the plays were blocked fairly well, and then Unioto was able to close quickly. And then as a result, Unioto gets the short field, and give Unioto credit, get down there to 4th and 1 and find a way to get it in the end zone. And I think they're going to go back to 3 minutes. So keep in mind, Unioto going to sit on the possession after the half. See if Jackson can answer here in this final 3 minutes.
Blake Braden will hold for the Tanner Beam extra point try. Was good on his first. High snap, Beam gets it down and gets it away and through the uprights. And that'll make it 14-7 Shermans with 3:05 left in the first half. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glo Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber to the home network, whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glo Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glo Fiber, simply brilliant.
3:05 remaining here in the second quarter. Season opener between Unioto and Jackson. A 1-yard rush from Yusuf Wilson puts the Shermans ahead. Shane, just like we saw from the last Jackson score, Unioto taking advantage of a short field, crossing the goal line for 6.
Yeah, great comparison. Jackson's defense able to knock a ball loose on the fumble recovery. Offense gets the short field, punches it in. Then Jackson gets really aggressive on a fake punt call deep in the territory there. Unioto up to the challenge, and now able to cash that in on the 4th down. Is that the kicker that was brought off?
It was some kind of equipment thing. Maybe I couldn't really tell if it was something with his shoe like we saw with Jonah Renner earlier. I don't know if he didn't have his mouthpiece.
Might be Wrigley Newberry. I can't tell who.
That is Wrigley Newberry, number 33.
Yeah, he kicked a little bit last week in a unique situation where Unioto had a soccer game. Wrigley did some kicking. Certainly watched him kick it down inside the 10 as well. So let's see what strategy they go with here with the kick. Incredible depth in the kicking game for Unioto.
Gilman Colner back to return again. Newberry gets it away. Colner fields it at the 15, works his way up the middle. Colner cutting, Colner taken down at about the 33. Not a bad return by Dayton. Colner sets up the Ironmen in good field position.
Unique strategy here for Jackson as well. You know, when you look 257, how aggressive do you want to really get here? A lot of times you'll see a team, if they can move the chain that first time, then they'll get real aggressive. But the last thing you want to do, give the ball back to Unioto here.
Be 1st and 10 at the Jackson 33. The first ever meeting between Jackson and Unioto to start off the 2026 season. Here's a handoff to Dayton Colner. Colner's got some speed, gets to the outside, and runs right into Braden Harsha. Gain of about 15 on the jet sweep to Dayton Colner.
Yeah, that was really well blocked. We've highlighted how difficult it is to run to the edge on this Unioto defense because of their team speed. Really well blocked. Colner with a great read, cuts it right inside in the hole, right at the right time. And just as I talked about, now you move the chain that first time, chance to cross midfield, maybe get into a little bit more of an aggressive 4-down territory.
1st and 10 at the 48. Colner, the deep man in the eye. Crabtree fakes the handoff. Rolling out, trying to look for something downfield, but Jonah Renner puts a stop to that. Crabtree trying to survey the field, going through his progressions. Jonah Renner brings him down in the backfield.
Yeah, big play from Renner. Renner's had a great preseason. Really active on the defensive front. Jackson trying to maybe look for a little big play. Did have a guy down field breaking open, but because of the pass rush led by Renner, Crabtree unable to get the eyes downfield to see his receiver.
Under 2 minutes to go, 2nd and long for the Ironmen. Trips on the near side. Crabtree fakes the give. Crabtree up the middle. Gets back to the original line and much more. Good keeper by Crabtree to set up a 3rd and manageable.
About 9 and clock at about 120. Still not a huge factor yet, especially if you're able to get the 1st down here. If you don't get the first down, then it's kind of decision time on if you want that clock to run anyway.
Unioto will receive the ball to start the second half. Jackson trying to even things up. Crabtree again off after the fake. Crabtree gets to the outside and gets a first down. Shifty footwork from CJ Crabtree to move the chains. Braden Harshaw with the tackle.
Yeah, clock stops to get the chains moving. Now the clock's moving back 50 seconds and counting. Let's see if Jackson now picks up the pace just a little bit.
Still have a timeout in their back pocket. Play clock at 20.
Taking a lot of time here.
Now, I think with Unioto getting the ball to start the second half, I thought we might see a little more urgency from this Jackson offense. Crabtree is blown up in the backfield by Yusuf Wilson, and he popped the ball out. Yusuf Wilson.
They're saying live ball.
He's making a house call. Sack, scoop, and score for Yusuf Wilson. A flag is down back at the 39.
I think it's just going to be sideline.
Yusuf Wilson with authority. Oh, my.
What a big-time play there. Again, Jackson kind of caught in the middle in terms of were they going to go quicker? They're going to run some time, then they do look to air it out, and Wilson comes up with a big-time hit. Pops it, hoping not only gets the ball back, just goes ahead and makes the house call himself.
Yusuf Wilson, sack, scoop, and score. It's a Unioto touchdown sponsored by the University of Rio Grande. That's a way to get the season started. What a hit, and what a play by Yusuf Wilson.
You always look for big plays, the swing, tight games, and two that jump out at you. The fake punt there that Unioto is able to snuff out, and then the obviously that scoop and score.
Beam gets the extra point away, splits the uprights. 21-7 after Yusuf Wilson puts a stop to the Jackson possession, does it himself with a fumble recovery touchdown, puts Unioto up 2 scores.
Yeah, just momentum. Big time play. If you go back, looking here at our scoring summary, Carson, you go back to, I'd say about mid-second quarter, all the momentum was on Jackson's side. And coming up on what we thought was going to be a key punt play for some field position. And then the fake punt completely flips the first half. Unioto takes advantage there. And then Unioto getting the defensive score there, now 21-7. Barring a big-time return here, Unioto going to go into the half up 14 and then come out and take the ball again.
Yeah, and that could be huge for Unioto. That score by Yusuf Wilson puts them up 2 scores. And then if you get the ball coming out of the break at halftime, you go down and score. That'll do wonders for your chances to win this game. It'll put a lot of pressure on Jackson.
You always look at situations too, Carson, first week in terms of just kind of finding your identity and some different things. Felt like Jackson was just a little unsure in terms of what tempo they wanted to go with there on that last drive. Once they got across midfield and had the Crabtree run, the clock stopped it long enough for the chains to move. Then it was kind of a little unsure how quick they wanted to go. They still had the timeout and they had the fresh set of downs, but give Wilson a lot of credit coming in and flying around and making a play.
Talk about a way to welcome yourself back to high school football. Yusuf Wilson, a touchdown run on the previous drive, goes back out on defense, gets a fumble, takes it to the house. This kickoff is loose, fielded just before the 30, and Blake Wynn lowers his shoulder, makes a stop, 11.5 to go. With Nash Rosler on the return for Jackson.
Yeah, just uses the short kick there. Doesn't make any sense to kick it deep and let one of their athletes maybe break one. See if Jackson decides to take a shot here or if they'll just go ahead and take a knee and try to regroup at the half.
Spot it at the 35. Crabtree will come under center, and it looks like he will just kneel it down and take us to halftime. The Unioto Shermans make a first half statement. It's not done yet, but they're halfway to a 1-0 start here on this Thursday night. Unioto ahead of Jackson 21-7. We'll step aside, bring you back, and catch some halftime entertainment from both of our marching bands in attendance tonight. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
The fan favorite pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger is back at Wendy's. Stacked with beer cheese, crispy onions, and a soft pretzel bun.
Nice buns, mate.
Boy, who fancies a song?
It's kind of like a pub on a bun, a pretzel bun.
She's the bar of a city, she's the boy of
The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger, back for a limited time at Wendy's.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm James.
We want to thank you for continuing to make the Root Sports and Fitness Center your headquarters for youth sports in Southern Ohio.
Since 2019, as the Bennett brothers first got together at 6 years, our next license takes us back to 2008. The lead vehicle for the Bennett brothers album, A Rich Bit Longer. Here is Burn It Up. Our final selection comes from the Jonas Brothers 2023 album, The Album, and features advanced choreographed by the band on the senior class of 2027. Here is Waffle House. So because I'm talking about it. So what is the so what was your two very side of the baby? There's seven to the like that.
hard. So, say you guys have to have daylight savings. The desire of engineer, a meaningful connection remains that the system is high on spot by Let my service bring an energy, a miracle that I think is there, of what education of the 90s. When you build it, I want it, that's way. You know the words. Bye, bye, bye.
When your home needs comfort you can count on, turn to the team that's been here from the start. At Affordable Air, you'll meet friendly faces with expert advice, working to keep your system running top-notch or helping you find a new heating and cooling solution that keeps your home comfortable without breaking the bank. Earning your trust every visit, every call, and giving you peace of mind you deserve. Call us today, Affordable Air Heating and Cooling, where affordability meets integrity.
Experience the hometown Chevrolet difference. Check out our huge selection of Silverado trucks, Equinox SUVs, and the latest Chevy models. Priced to move and ready to hit the road today. Plus, with the Hometown Advantage, you get free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty at no extra cost. That's real value and real peace of mind. Your hometown Chevrolet is proud to be your trusted local dealer of new and pre-owned inventory, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Visit us today at 501 West Emmett Avenue in Waverly or start shopping online at yourhometownchevy.com.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
We welcome you back here to Unioto High School. It's halftime as the Shermans hold a 21-7 lead on the Jackson Ironmen here in this season opener on this Thursday night. Carson Francis and Shane Combs back with you once again. Want to give a huge shout out to Holzer Health System for being our new title sponsor here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority, as well as all of our other sponsors who make our broadcast possible. Shane, a 2-touchdown lead for Unioto. They get the ball coming out of the halftime break. What did you like about the first half?
Well, I like how both teams responded back and forth with Lady Mo here in week one. We knew it'd be a competitive football game. Unioto, the home team, grabbed it first when they were able to get a stop and they were able to go down and score, and crowd was into the game. Jackson did a nice job of reestablishing itself offensively between the tackles. They answered with a scoring drive, and then about halfway through the second quarter at 7-7, you felt like Jackson had a little bit more control of the tempo, at least. I won't say completely control the game because it was tied, but no doubt about it. The game turned, I think you'll agree with me, on the fake punt when they got real aggressive there. They were unable to convert. Unioto goes down. Jackson almost answered the bell defensively on 4th and goal. Wilson was able to get it in to the end zone to go up 14-7. And then just a little bit of, I'm not sure, a little bit maybe indecisive on how aggressive Jackson wanted to be. Nonetheless, they bring it down. I think they're going to try to take a shot. They have a good field goal kicker. And then Wilson, once again, this time on the defensive side, able to pop the ball loose and return it. That was probably about 50 plus yards for that scoop and score. And while it was a 7-7 game, all of a sudden turns 21-7, and Unioto in complete control of this one as they have the football coming out.
What adjustments would you like to see from Jackson going into the second half? They start on defense, so a very important defensive possession to start. And then when they get the ball, what would you like to see overall from the Ironmen as the second half starts?
Well, I think the difficulty, Carson, now becomes your 2 scores down. The first thing you got to do is you got to be able to get a stop. If Unioto is able to put any more points on the board, even if it's in special teams with a field goal or anything like that, and this thing gets pushed to 3 scores, Jackson could be in a little trouble. You look down stat sheet, Jackson's had some success on the ground. I have them unofficially up around 100 yards, depending on what you want to do with that 1 sack yardage, in high school football a lot of times. Nonetheless, on the true carries, right around 18 carries for about 102 yards. They've had some success on the ground, but no passing yards to go with it. They've had the mistake there in the fake punt. And then they just had very little momentum in terms of making the big play. So you'd like to see them get back to the run game and establish some physicality in the middle. But you and I both know that if this thing stays a 2-possession game deeper into the third quarter, you start to count the possessions and you wonder how long can you go and not at least get something out of the passing game.
Teams get an extra 3 minutes to warm up here at the halftime break. And while they do that, we'll give an update around the area. Or Austin Hanna down at Piketon as the Red Streaks hosting Northwest, and it is all Red Streaks in Pike County. Red Streaks ahead of Northwest 41-0 through 3 quarters of play.
Well, good sign there for the SVC too. You and I were talking in terms of your non-conference play. You really need to be a cheerleader for your conference, right? When it comes to computer points and so forth, you benefit greatly when your conference teams are going out in the non-conference and winning. And obviously the SVC teams out there watching tonight and getting anxious to play their football Friday night, tomorrow night, have to like Unioto up here, Piketon up there.
And speaking of our football Friday night, tomorrow we will have our Kingston National Bank SVC Game of the Week over at Zane Trace. The Pioneers hosting Logan Elm. Should be a great one tomorrow night in Kinnickinnick. We also round out our coverage with volleyball Saturday afternoon, Unioto at Gallia Academy.
Yeah, selfishly, that's what I love about the Thursday night start. You and I get, two this
week. Get to double
right?
dip.
Yeah, we get this great atmosphere tonight. It'll be a lot of fun over there in Kinnickinnick tomorrow night. And then I can't wait to get down there Saturday. Always a great event to call volleyball down there at Gallia Academy. And that'll be a great match as well as you and I get our volleyball coverage underway.
Absolutely. We got a little taste of that a couple weeks ago down at the Roots Sports and Fitness Center. Always love having them. We appreciate them having us down there for that. Love having them as a sponsor as well. As Unioto's KOR team takes the field, getting ready to start the second half. What do you look to see from Unioto on this first drive of the half?
Hey, I love the balance. I look for him to continue to move the football around. Isaac Coy off to an 8 for 12 start, right around 93 yards, the touchdown. Harsha with 3 catches. He had that touchdown. Langoff had a catch, and then Beam had 4 catches for 69. And then in the run game, they got Wilson under control as the half went on. He was only about 9 carries for about 25 yards, but he did have that touchdown. And then Coy with a couple carries, Villette with a couple carries. So look for Unioto to move the ball around. A couple athletes, they still could get involved. Harsha was really involved early, and then I thought Jackson started to key on him a little bit, and that opened it up for some other people.
So the Shermans will receive possession as we begin the second half of this Week 1 non-league contest. Unioto gained some ground, a 2-possession lead in the first half. They're 24 minutes away from a Week 1 victory. We talked about in our pregame, strength of schedule was a big question mark in Unioto's previous seasons. This is a great opportunity for them to make a statement going into the rest of their season. They're halfway there.
No question about it. They played a really good first half, and now with their offense on the field, they've got to have the urgency to play well in the second half and try to deliver a knockout punch. If you're Jackson, no time to panic or get away from who you are, what you do. Plenty of time, but it's crucial that Jackson win this third quarter and at least get this thing back to 1 possession before it goes in the fourth quarter. That way Jackson's run game continues to stay at the top of their call sheet.
Tanner Jenkins boots it away. Braden Harsha fields it at the 1 for Unioto. Second half underway. Harsha trying to get to the outside. He's wrangled down by Israel Schindler just before the 20-yard line, and Isaac Coy leads the Unioto offense back onto the field. You talked about what a first half he had, but it was also the ground game that got them going. Yusuf Wilson, Henry Villette had some good carries. Nice balance between run and pass.
Yeah, not a lot of yards to show for the inside run game, but just enough to keep Jackson honest, because you know what Unioto wants to do, and its bread and butter is kind of in the short passing game, get the ball in the hands of their athletes out in space, and Coy, the 3-year starter, able to quarterback it all.
Coy swings it over on first down to Lakin Langoff, and it hits the ground before he corrals it incomplete.
That ball, he was throwing that way out there, and I don't know if he expected his receiver to kind of come in behind the block and cut down that distance a little bit, but the ball's in the air that long, you must hold your breath a little bit on the Unioto sideline. Luckily, falls incomplete.
It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 20. Coy drops back, taking a shot downfield for Harsha, or Braden rather, and it's over his head, incomplete. That was a good throw, just a little too much distance, too much air under that throw from Isaac Coy.
What happens, Carson, is Unioto does so much of the short passing game, a lot of the bubble screens. You know, at some point they're going to take the shot over the top. Good discipline there for Jackson not to bite. Well covered, nothing really there. Back-to-back incomplete passes, and just like that, only 19 seconds off the game clock, and Jackson staring at a chance to get off the field defensively.
Coy in the shotgun. Coy drops back to throw. He's under pressure, just gets it out, and it's incomplete. Zayden McLeod applying the pressure for the Jackson defense. And that's just what the doctor ordered for the Ironmen, a 3-and-out.
That's the advantage of winning first down. Then you win second down, 3rd and long, obvious passing down. Jackson brought the pressure. Coy had no chance to even really step into that one. And what a great job of the Jackson defense coming out, 3-and-out. Now, can the special teams execute and try to win? Crabtree in the offense some field position.
A 3-and-out for Unioto. Beam to punt it away. Culner back to return. And Unioto's going to try and run a fake, and it works to perfection. Levi Beam turns on the Jets and moves the chains for the Shermans on 4th down. Jackson tried to run a fake punt earlier. It did not go their way. Levi Beam says, let me show you how it's done.
How about that? I mean, that's one of those. I don't think that's the call. I think a lot of times that's a read, and you trust one of your older guys to make that read. And he made the right read. He started to move to his right side, and there wasn't a white jersey home at that point with his speed. Once he gets up to full speed, he's easily going to move the chain. And again, an opportunity for Jackson to take early momentum. Unioto grabs it right back. Now let's see if Coy and his group can get something going.
First and 10 at the 35. Coy, the handoff to Wilson. Wilson tried to shift his way up the middle, taken down by a trio of Ironmen. Tate Rosler and Jake Gallagher, a couple of the guys in on the stop.
Example, what we talked about in the first half. Not a lot of room to run inside for Unioto, but I like that Coach Hoops and his offensive staff have stayed stubborn with it, because I think it just slows down that defensive front for Jackson a little bit, and it's going to open up some of the edges for Coy to operate a little bit of that intermediate passing game they want to use.
2 yards on the carry from Yusuf Wilson. Riker Larson, the orbit motion, the handoff to Wilson, and Jackson's defense was ready for it once again. Nash Rosler in on the party. Wilson, a little slow to get up.
Now back in a passing down. Jackson brought pressure right up the middle the last time. Let's see if Unioto decides to move Coy out of the pocket a little bit. Throughout the preseason, Carson, I watched a lot of times where there'd be design rollouts and so forth. Let's see if they use something like that to maybe offset some of the pressure and give Coy a little bit more of an opportunity to see if he can get the ball downfield.
No gain on the last carry from Wilson, and Matt Hoops going to burn a timeout to talk things over before a 3rd and 8, and we will take it with the Shermans. 21-7 Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
9:16 to go here in the third quarter. Unioto faces a 3rd and 8 at its own 37. Leading 21-7. Shane, what do you look to see on this third down? Obviously, you mentioned a passing down. How do you expect Unioto to kind of respond after Jackson standing its ground on 1st and 2nd?
Well, we talked out of the break there, possibly moving Coy out of the pocket and getting him out on the edge. Let's see what they do here.
Coy rolling, fires for Langoff on the near sideline, over his head, incomplete. That brings up 4th and 8.
They did try a little version of that. He did try to roll near side a little bit, but even with that, thought the pressure and the penetration of that Jackson front disrupted the timing of some of those routes. Coy maybe not able to get out there and hold on to the ball that extra second. And, you know, you're right back here, and maybe no harm, no foul. Jackson does cost themselves 2.5 minutes of game clock, which could be a factor down 2 scores, maybe 20 yards of field position, but nonetheless, chance to get the ball back.
Jackson packing the box as Beam, he'll boot it away this time. A high end-over-end kick on the far side. And it takes a Jackson bounce. Unioto downs it just before the 45-yard line. You know, field position has been favoring Jackson almost all night. Just only able to convert and capitalize on it one time. Let's see how the Ironmen offense responds here.
Yeah, Jackson hop off the punt there. Looked like a Carson Francis wedge.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, pulling it back. Good look at Birdie. So here comes Jackson now. First opportunity in the second half. Still plenty of time to stay with the run game. Let's see what offensive adjustments we get.
There's a first down handoff to Schindler up the middle, showing off some speed and power. Nice little mix for a first down.
And that was the thing. You know, you're asking me what I expected to see. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of difference in strategy, as long as the clock doesn't dictate a sense of urgency for Jackson. That's why I mentioned I thought it was really important for Jackson to get the stop, go down and get this back to a 1-possession game. Hopefully we just have a cramp there. I didn't get a number on that Unioto player. Young tailback there for Jackson, the sophomore. Schindler, we've been talking about throughout the evening, had him right around 9 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown there in the first half. And good to see the Sherman up on his feet there. And there it started in the third quarter with an 11-yard run.
8:54 reads the third quarter clock. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Unioto 45 after the carry from Israel Schindler, the sophomore. He's had himself a nice night. His first ever varsity game.
You know, and you're talking about, you know, the passing yards. They don't really have I don't think they have a completion yet on the night, but nonetheless, just stay stubborn with the run game inside.
There's a carry by Tate Rosler going almost nowhere, taken down by Glenn Stottridge in the middle.
Yeah, nice job. And that's going to be the real key for the Unioto defensive front. Can they start to win that point of attack?
Second and 9 at the 44. Here's a handoff to Schindler. Schindler gets a little further. Someone loses their helmet.
The ball
ball came out, and Unioto says they have it. And they do.
Yeah, they certainly threw something down to mark it. I thought originally something just popped off equipment of a player, but I think that was what I was seeing was the official throwing down, marking the spot of the fumble. And how about that? Unioto defense up to the challenge one more time.
Dylan Stanley came up with the loose football and gives possession back to Unioto. I think something we're going to look back on if Unioto is able to hold on is these costly possessions where Jackson seemingly gives the ball away. They had the fumble and then the fourth down stop on the fake punt earlier, giving Unioto extra opportunities.
Yeah, now the biggest thing for Unioto is, can they find a little bit of rhythm and put together a drive? If nothing else, just start to win time of possession a little bit up to possession. But even more so, having the urgency to go deliver a knockout punch.
Boy, rolling out, taking a shot downfield is room service again for Levi Beam. Touchdown, Shermans.
56 yards.
A 56-yard strike to Levi Beam, and that's another Unioto touchdown sponsored by the University of Rio Grande. Beam a little shaken up after the play. He talked about Isaac Coy getting out of the pocket, trying to open things up, and certainly couldn't have worked better on that last play.
And on the third down call, he was rolling out this near side toward us, and he never really was able to get his shoulder square back down. He was kind of looking out in the flat. That time, he was able to sprint out a little bit more, create just a little bit more space from the rush. He ended up taking a little bit of a hit as he let it go, but kind of throwing back across the field and wide open. Just nice play design, nice throw, nice catch, and Unioto kind of threatening to break this thing open.
Beams had some incredible plays on all ends of the football. And that last touchdown blows this game wide open.
Puts him up over 100 yards on the night and pushes Coy up closer to that 150 mark through the air. Coy's second touchdown of the night. He threw one to Harsha earlier. Other two Unioto touchdowns, if you're just joining us, was a Wilson offensive score as well as a defensive score, as the running back scored from 1 yard out and then had a sack scoop score.
Beam out for the extra point. Kick is on its way, and it is good. 28-7. Unioto pulling away here in the third quarter. We'll quickly step aside. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Have you experienced simply brilliant fiber internet? Yeah, that's Glo Fiber. Lightning fast internet that keeps up with your busy life. A reliable fiber-to-the-home network whether you're working, learning, playing, or streaming. And best of all, Glo Fiber has real local support from real people who are happy to talk to you. And switch now for your first month free. Faster, more reliable fiber internet with real local support. Glo Fiber, simply brilliant.
28-7. Unioto ahead of Jackson after a 56-yard touchdown pass from Isaac Coy to Levi Beam. This game is blown wide open. Another instance of where the Shermans take advantage of a Jackson miscue to put 6 on the board.
Yeah, really been a complete performance from Unioto. The offense getting involved there with the big play. Defense and special teams have obviously had their fingerprints all over this as well. You look up there at 28-7 against a good opponent like Jackson. That's what you would expect it would take, and that's what Unioto's been able to do.
Beam boots it away. It's fielded on the bounce by Glockner. Glockner trying to get to the outside, cuts it back up the middle, taken down by Riker Larson.
Flag back here at a unique spot. I'm going to guess maybe a Unioto guy got off the line of scrimmage a little quick.
Someone got a little happy feet on the kickoff team. I was random tangent here. I always like when we're at high school football games and we have the refs mic'd up. That makes things a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. Just fan friendly.
After the penalty, Jackson sets up shop at their own 43. Now the pressure's really on for the Ironmen.
Well, you start to get out of character a little bit. This isn't who they appear to be early on. Now we're going to get a chance to maybe see Crabtree open it up a little bit more.
Crabtree with a nice pass over to Dayton Glockner, but they'll say he was juggling on the catch. An incomplete pass, a nice throw from Crabtree. Glockner unable to reel it in cleanly.
I think Glockner's going to become a pretty big factor in this game. Is Jackson's probably going to have to start to throw it around a little bit more. See if Unioto, that team speed we talked about, can't maybe come off the edges and get some pressure on the quarterback.
2nd and 10, Crabtree fakes the give, rolling to his left, fires downfield, incomplete, intended for Glockner. Got a hand on it, but couldn't haul it in. Good coverage by Lakin Langoff.
I think overall on the year, Unioto secondary, although young, certainly going to be difficult to throw the ball against. The same reason they can spread the ball around offensively and that wide receiver room with all that depth. Many of those same guys provide some of that great coverage on the back end of the defense.
Back-to-back incompletions from C.J. Crabtree. Makes it 3rd and 10 at the 43. Crabtree, the senior veteran leader for the Jackson offense, trying to mount a comeback. Here's a handoff to Tate Rosler. Rosler gets a few yards, still going, before he's eventually wrestled down by Dylan Stanley. That brings up 4th down for the Ironmen.
Just trying to get something there on 3rd down, and now you look up there, mid-3rd quarter, down 3 possession. Really puts a lot of pressure on Jackson to kind of have to force the issue here a little bit.
5-yard carry from Tate Rosler brings up 4th and 5. A do-or-die situation for Jackson. Andy Hall leaving the offense out on the field. 3 on the play clock.
I don't think he got it all.
It didn't blow it dead. It doesn't matter, as Crabtree is stopped well short of the line to gain. Jonah Renner in on the stop, and Unioto in business near midfield.
Another great stop from the Unioto defense. So again, hard to find a whole lot of holes in the Unioto performance tonight. I think overall in the kicking game, Beam's been 4 for 4 on the extra points. They've been okay on the kickoff situation, some decent returns for Jackson. Obviously, the fake punt was huge that Unioto was able to stop. And then offensively, we've seen the ability for Unioto to spread it around, putting 28 points on the board already, with still 6.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
Isaac Coy back out there, swings one out to Harsha. Harsha high points it and gets upfield for a gain of about 7. Well, nice job by Harsha coming down with the high heat, getting upfield. A little slow to get up after the play.
Yeah, that's certainly not a good sign at all.
But while he gets looked at, we'll step aside. 28-7 Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Rathkamp Financial is a comprehensive financial services firm committed to helping our clients improve their long-term financial success. Our customized programs seek to grow, protect, and conserve our clients' wealth by delivering personalized service and expertise. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member, FINRA SIPC. Please call us at 740-775-1040 to schedule a consultation.
Experience the hometown Chevrolet difference. Check out our huge selection of Silverado trucks, Equinox SUVs, and the latest Chevy models. priced to move and ready to hit the road today. Plus, with the Hometown Advantage, you get free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty at no extra cost. That's real value and real peace of mind. Your Hometown Chevrolet is proud to be your trusted local dealer of new and pre-owned inventory, delivering unbeatable deals and top-notch service. Visit us today at 501 West Emmett Avenue in Waverly, or start shopping online at yourhometownchevy.com.
Back here at Unioto High School, good to see Braden Harsha up and moving after being shaken up on the last play. A catch for a gain of 6. That's a good sight to see jogging off the field.
Absolutely.
We're back to action here. 6:27 to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 4 for Unioto. Unioto ahead by 3 scores. Their offense has been clicking on all cylinders tonight, looking to add to it. Orbit motion from Riker Larson. Here's a give to Yusuf Wilson up the middle. Wilson will move the chains and taken down by a handful of Ironmen just before the 35-yard line. Byron Betts, one of the guys in on the stop for Jackson.
Yeah, one of the best runs from Wilson since probably early in the game. And a lot of that comes from the ability to do some things in formation and move a lot of guys around. A lot of that RPO, you'll hear people say that run pass option. You see an experienced quarterback like Coy, good ball handler, pulls that ball back and can throw out to the bubble screen. So what it does is it just keeps everybody honest throughout that defensive front.
Larson in motion again. Coy the give to Wilson. Wilson gets knocked around, but not before he gets a nice gain on that carry, about 5. Gets it to the 33.
Unioto's been so good tonight, Carson. You feel like you're nitpicking when you say this, but if you're Coach Hoops, the one thing that's maybe been missing at times is maybe the ability to dominate the line of scrimmage. You know as well as I do, up 3 possession here and that clock ticking deep into the third quarter, he would love nothing more but to see his offensive line really take this game over.
And how important has Unioto's offensive line been tonight so far? We'll talk about that later. 2nd and 6, and the play is blown dead. An illegal shift against the Shermans. That'll move him back 5. A little movement before the snap.
It's been pretty clean overall,
Yeah.
Carson. You and I talked in the pregame week 1. A lot of times you see a lot of flags. You see teams struggling to get out. Now, these are obviously 2 really good football teams, but nonetheless, we haven't had a lot of that sloppy management. A couple wasted timeouts maybe where they didn't like what they were in as they were leaving the huddle.
That's only the 2nd penalty of the night against Unioto. That'll make it 2nd and 11. Back at the 38, Unioto trying to fight its way to 1-0. I'll face Athens and Waverly to round out their non-league. Coy fires downfield. That pass is picked off by Eli Taylor. Did Jackson need that or what? Eli Taylor, right place, right time.
Well called by you, Carson. I was thinking the same thing. Boy, does Jackson need something from their defense here before this thing gets away. And it's hard to say on that. I mean, if you look at the way the ball was thrown, obviously a little miscommunication between quarterback, wide receiver, but what a big-time pick-me-up. If Jackson's able to respond here and maybe get this back to a 2-score game before the fourth quarter, still with an opportunity, but certainly had to have that and a big pick-me-up.
Eli Taylor, the sophomore. That's quite the way to break into varsity football. Jackson sets up at their own 28. Crabtree fakes the give. Crabtree through traffic fights his way for a few yards, taken down by Jonah Renner, who trips him up from behind.
And Carson, no matter what happens the rest of the way, I think Jackson's going to go to the film and they're going to see some success on the inside run game. They've been about 5 yards a pop in between the tackles. But the problem has been is their ability to finish a couple of drives, to finish some short yardage situations. Remember, they were stopped on the 4th and 1 way back earlier in the game, and so forth. And then they've obviously had very little pass game, if any, to go with it.
Crabtree to throw on second down. That pass juggled by Glockner before he hauls it in and gets just enough to move the chains. Nice catch and run from the senior Dayton Glockner.
Like he's down. Maybe that's a cramp as well. We're getting to that time of week 1 where not a lot of these guys have pushed through 4 quarters of football just yet.
While they're stretching him out, we'll quickly step aside. 3:43 to go in the third, 28-7 Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Will be 1st and 10 for Jackson at their own 42, 3:43 to go in the third. Carson Francis and Shane Combs with you to open up the 2026 high school football season. Crabtree under center. Gives it to Schindler. Schindler up the middle. Nice carry. Gets near the line to gain. Looks like he was about a yard short. All the officials going to signal to move the chains. I like what I've seen tonight from the sophomore Israel Schindler. Had some nice carries. And Jackson's ability to move the ball, he's contributed to that.
No question about it. Up over 60 yards. Heard a lot of good things about him coming in. We talked about him in the first half. I've been impressed with his physicality between the tackles. Just got to secure the ball. He's in for a big year, I think.
They go right back to him again, and he gets to the outside, stiff arms, and wrangled down by Levi Beam, but not before he moves the chains for the second carry in a row.
Yeah, now developing a little bit of that momentum we talked about. And if you're Jackson, you just want to go with a little bit more tempo, and you got to try to maximize the number of snaps you can get, playing from behind. Just got to change your tempo a little bit. Looks like Harsha going to return here. It's a good sign for Unioto.
1st and 10 at the Unioto 37. And now or never possession for the Ironmen. Crabtree the handoff. This time it's Tate Rosler, and Rosler, watch out, turns on the afterburners. 37 yards for a Jackson touchdown.
There's a lot of pride in that Jackson name. They're not going to go away. They continue to fight. Now they're back within a couple scores.
And that Tate Rosler score is a Jackson touchdown sponsored by the University of Rio Grande. The first touchdown carry on the season for the junior Tate Rosler. We have a Unioto player shaken up after the play. And so with that, we will quickly step aside. 28-13 Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willey Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service, It's a promise from our family to yours.
Back here at Unioto, as a 37-yard touchdown run by Tate Rosler helps Jackson cut right back into the deficit. Tanner Jenkins out to kick the extra point.
Jenkins gives a lot of solid kicking. That'll be a big factor of Jackson throughout the year. Let's see if he knocks this through and gets it back to a 14-point difference.
Crabtree the hold, gets it down. Jenkins up, away, and good. The extra point makes it 28-14. Unioto Ironmen cut into the deficit after the touchdown run from Tate Rosler from 37 yards out. So, Shane, we talked about how Jackson was going to need something from their defense. They get the interception from Eli Taylor. They cash in with the touchdown run from Tate Rosler.
Yeah, and what happens is a lot of times when you're that good up front and you have some guys that can hit the home run in the run game, you don't always have to just start airing it out to get the big play, right? Sometimes you just block it a little better, you run it a little harder, and you start to see that there with Schindler a little bit, and then that time Rosler breaking it from 37 yards out. And so you can hit the home run with the run game too. Now, I guess if you're Jackson, you got to ask yourself, can we do what we did coming out of the locker room, but then finish it off a little bit cleaner in special teams? Remember, to the defense's credit, they came out in the first 30 seconds and got what would have been a 3-and-out, and Beam tucked it on the fake punt and runs it up the sideline. So that's the type of thing Jackson needs now that they're back to 2-score. Got to try to come up with a quick 3-and-out. If you're Unioto, you really need to be able to possess the football.
Jenkins sends it away. Fielded inside the 10. This is Riker Larson on the return, and Larson gets past the 20 before he's driven backwards by a couple of Ironmen. Good coverage on the kickoff from Jackson. Parker Hill making the tackle.
Mentioned a little bit of the Unioto offensive line on that last drive and about how if you're Coach Hoops, you'd love to start to see them kind of put their mark on this second half and get the run game going and eat that clock up a little bit more.
Unioto will set up at the 22. How does the offense respond from a turnover on the last drive?
I know it's been a broken record for me tonight, but you got to win first down. I really think that's the key to a lot of these drives, is get yourself in good down and distance.
Blake Braden goes in motion from left to right. Coy the handoff to Henry Villette. And Villette lost the football. They're going to say he was down before the ball came out. Kind of slipped on the grass. And they blow the play dead before he lost the ball. Maybe a sigh of relief for Unioto.
Yeah, no question. You can just slowly but surely see Lady Mo starting to flip here a little bit to the other sideline. Just, you can tell in body language and the way guys start to believe. And Unioto starting to fatigue quite a bit, starting to lose some key guys. And again, you hope these are just cramps and things that will improve as the year goes on. I didn't get a number there, Carson. That looked like a guy up front on the.
Believe it was Dylan Stanley. He was walked off the field by a few of his teammates.
So Dylan, a key part of that offensive line there. And this is where you want some of that depth that Coach Hoops has been talking about and developing over the last 2 or 3 years. They're high on a lot of these young kids, and that includes some of their offensive linemen.
Brody Miller into that left guard spot. 2nd and 10. Coy fakes the give. Coy under pressure. Coy gets it away, and it's incomplete. Good pressure there by the Jackson front 7. Jake Gallagher, one of the guys that got pressure for the Ironmen.
Yeah, great job there. Supply the pressure and then give Coy a lot of credit. He was able to get out there and create enough space just to kind of get the ball and throw it away, just to live for a 3rd and 10. And not a lot of clock ticking off here on this Unioto drive. If you're Jackson, got to have some urgency here. It's a chance to get off the field on third down. If you're Unioto, you really love a pass play here.
3rd and 10. Coy drops back. Here's a screen for Beam. Beam gets it into the open field, and watch out, Levi Beam taken down by Eli Taylor, but not before a huge pickup to put Unioto at the 45.
What a big time play call that was. You know the pressure's coming. Good call. Sometimes it's just about situational football, and you know that pressure's coming. You've had trouble protecting your quarterback here in the second half, and you dial up that little middle screen there and get the speed of Beam out. Beam enjoying a big night here, moves the chains.
He had the 56-yard touchdown grab early in the first half, had the fake punt run for a first down. Just done it all tonight.
Yeah, he himself now is going to push up to unofficially getting up into the closer to that 140, 150 mark. I'll try to get some good totals for you at the end of the game there. And then Coy, obviously, on the passing side of that, enjoying a nice night as well.
1st and 10 at the 44 after the catch and run from Beam.
Al Coy's going to use a little bit of that play clock. And I like the strategy here from the standpoint of you're up 2 possession. Get this game into the fourth quarter as quick as you can as well.
Braden goes in motion. Coy, the give to Yusuf Wilson. Wilson powers up the middle, runs into a crowd, but gets a gain of about 3 or 4.
The point I was making there, Carson, is, you know, we don't talk about situational football enough, time and score. And there you work the play clock just a little bit. Now you're going to work this down. And if you want to keep it on the ground, it'd probably be it would be the last play of the third quarter. Or if you want to come down there and open it up, you can do that as well. But just trying to not let Jackson extend the game too much on you.
It's the first ever meeting between Jackson and Unioto. Jackson has never faced a current SVC squad until tonight. Unioto, after these 6 seconds, the carry from Yusuf Wilson gets a yard. Unioto 3 quarters down, 1 to go to a statement season opening win. 12 minutes left to decide a winner here on Thursday night. We'll be right back. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
When your home needs comfort you can count on, turn to the team that's been here from the start. At Affordable Air, you'll meet friendly faces with expert advice, working to keep your system running top-notch or helping you find a new heating and cooling solution that keeps your home comfortable without breaking the bank. Earning your trust every visit, every call, and giving you peace of mind you deserve. Call us today. Affordable Air Heating and Cooling, where affordability meets integrity.
A 3rd and 8 for Unioto as we get the fourth quarter started. 12 minutes to decide a winner in week 1. Coy dropping back, has all kinds of time. Coy fires to the sideline. It's Larson. Caught on the sideline, pushed out by Glockner at the 30. Isaac Coy turns something from nothing. Finds Riker Larson on the near sideline. And another big pickup for the Shermans. As we have another Jackson player down here on the near side.
Carson, that time they slowed the rush, tried to go a little bit more coverage. And again, the experience of Coy just looked things over and then just kind of places a ball right down the sideline to his rookie wide receiver and able to do a nice job of hauling it in and staying in bounds. And back-to-back third downs where Coy and the passing game come up with a big play when they need it.
Absolutely. And, going back to what you were saying earlier, as Eli Taylor up and walking off the field, always a good sight to see. We talked about fatigue being a factor as we get late into this game. You see Unioto call the number of someone like Larson, who has been on the field a little bit, but they haven't really gone to him a whole lot. They utilize him there, kind of a sneak factor there.
Yeah, good point, because again, it's that depth we talked about. So many teams just don't have the ability at each position group to go 2 and 3 deep, where we've watched Unioto now in the passing game. Earlier it was Harsha. Langhoff was involved. Beams had a huge night, up around 147 yards unofficially is what I have him at now. And Larson comes in with that catch. Isaac Coy's been able to spread the ball around. He's been able to do it efficiently for the most part, and he's climbing up around the 170-yard mark. So just enough run game, creative pass game. Been a pretty explosive night for Unioto offense to this point with 28 points on the board.
New set of downs for Unioto at the Jackson 29. Coy, the give to Yusuf Wilson. Wilson spins and falls forward on a nice first down carry. Dayton Kalner in on the tackle. Gain of about 7 for Yusuf Wilson.
And those are just devastating plays when you're trying to come from 2 scores down, because first down, run for about 7 or 8 yards. Now you just milk that play clock and you start to watch only maybe a couple snaps per 60 seconds. And it doesn't take long for an offensive line to really start to milk a clock in the high school football game.
2nd and 3 at the 22. Coy takes a snap, handoff to Wilson again. This time, Wilson stopped trying to fight forward for an extra yard or 2.
Great effort for Wilson. That easily could have been a 2 or 3 yard loss. And instead, he fights himself through a little bit and keeps his team in a more of a 3rd and we'll call it a long 1.
Tate Rosler in on the stop for Jackson.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to get a lot of these stoppages in terms of just some of the cramps on both sides. Now the clock's winding again. Unioto will stay in the huddle. This is where the experience of quarterback is so valuable. Understands time and score. He understands the tempo his coach wants him to play with. You see him talking to his offensive line up front there, and then turns and communicates with his running back, gets everybody on the same page. I can't tell you from a coaching standpoint, of course, what that means, just to have that experienced leader right out there on the field.
Unioto looking for its 5th straight week 1 win, trying to close things out here against Jackson as Yusuf Wilson goes up the middle. And a closed fist signal from the officials brings up 4th down.
Yeah, Jackson's competed in the short yardage tonight. Unioto came up with the 4th and 1 when they needed it down on the goal line earlier. Now here we are on another 4th and 1, almost a must stop for Jackson, you feel like, because Unioto converts, and it's probably going to cost Jackson at least 2 or 3 more minutes, if not more points.
No gain on the last play. 4th and 2 for Unioto. And the Unioto offense.
Wow.
Draws Jackson off sides. A hard count. Moves the chains, and costly mistake there, to say the least, from Jackson.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good hard count. Not a whole lot to lose there. Might as well, with that much time on the play clock, go ahead and give a cadence, see if you get the jump, and they did. Now clock winds, 9:21, 9:20 and counting.
Good job by the Unioto front 5 to stay disciplined on the hard count as well. That's the big thing, is you want to make sure that you hold your ground. You are not the one jumping off sides. New set of downs for Unioto. Yusuf Wilson up the gut. Gain of about 2.
Yeah, and the word I've used all night is stubborn. I think Unioto stayed a little stubborn with the run game. I'm not saying they've had big time success inside, but I've just been impressed. I mean, look, they're not going to play against very many fronts shy of week 11 than they're seeing tonight here with Jackson. Their ability just to run it a little bit, and they've been able to convert some short yardage has been really valuable.
Sherman's trying to milk as much of this clock as they can. Larson going in motion. Coy takes a snap, handoff to Wilson again. Wilson gets forward for about 2 or 3 on the carry. Taken down by Zayden McLeod and Nash Rosler tag teaming for the stop.
Yeah, and again, the clock becomes the key for Unioto. Carson, the other thing that Unioto has, and Jackson would have this as well, I think it's what separates a lot of teams from other. They have the field goal kicker here. So you get into this possession game, you get down under 6 minutes here, and you don't have to always go for it on 4th down. At this point, you can convert for 3 and pretty much put the game away by going up that 3rd possession. Obviously, Unioto would like to cap it off with 6.
Coy rolling out, taking a shot downfield into the end zone. It is caught, but they'll say he was out at the 1. It was Carter Elliott making the grab.
Yeah, another weapon here, as you see the depth of that wide receiver group that we talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that's the 5th different wide receiver that's caught a ball tonight. I think it's the 7th maybe that's been targeted.
The catch from Carter Elliott puts Unioto on the doorstep of another touchdown. 5 on the play clock. Coy under center, takes a snap, does it himself, and Isaac Coy at the bottom of the pile. He thinks he's in, and the official says he's in. Touchdown, Shermans. The Isaac Coy sneak from a yard out extends the lead back to 3 scores, and that is another Unioto touchdown, sponsored by the University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, just walks right up the line of scrimmage, recognizes where he wants to get to, snaps it just with the final seconds on the play clock, and gets his way in there. And that might be the one we label as the knockout punch.
Beam a line drive, extra point is through. That'll make it 35-14 Shermans. 7:21 to go here at Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willey Son Trucking. Willey Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willey Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
Back here at Unioto, 7:21 remaining in this ball game. A 1-yard touchdown rush from Isaac Coy extends the lead back to 3 scores. Shane, you talked about that potentially being the knockout punch. You know, if the pressure wasn't already on Jackson, it's dialed up that much more, and time's not really on their side.
Yeah, no question about it. I thought Isaac Coy's experience, leadership, and talent all took over on that drive right there. the 3-year starter, now the senior, up over 200 yards through the air, a couple touchdowns, has the rushing touchdown as well. And he's been able to get so many guys involved in the passing game, spread it around. As I said, Unioto getting just enough from the run game. Defense has been good, flying around and competing well. And then special teams they've been good more than they haven't, certainly been opportunistic. And yeah, I've been real impressed with Unioto's overall play tonight. This has been one of the more impressive performances I've seen in quite some time from the Unioto football team.
The talk all off season for many years past, can Unioto play with the best of the best? Team like Jackson comes into town, they're up 3 scores with 7 minutes to go. I'd say we have an answer to that question. Here's a kick return fielded at the 9-yard line by Christian Gillum. Gillum's had some nice returns tonight, and another nice one there as he's tripped up and taken down about the 37-yard line.
Now, keep in mind, this Jackson team's going to be fine. You know,
absolutely.
It's a situation where the way Jackson is going to be at its best, they're not built really to play from behind. But it's a situation. If you go back in the first half tonight, there was a time where they were starting to maybe get control of the game and get the game in its tempo, and they just ended up having a few miscues and some short yardage, some special teams, and some plays that just didn't go their way.
There's a carry by Tate Rosler, who gets near the line to gain. And I want to build off of that, Shane, because, yeah, 7 minutes left. You're down 3 scores. Things not looking the greatest for Jackson, but you have to like a lot of what you've seen from, I've really liked how CJ Crabtree has conducted himself out there on the field. I love what I've seen from Israel Schindler, Tate Rosler, your 2 running backs. And as time, this team's going to be able to find a way to put it all together.
No question. As advertised up front and with the run game.
Crabtree's first down pass intended for Christian Gillum broken up. Carter Elliott on the coverage, a nice play to cause the incomplete pass.
And that's going to be the dynamic that they're going to have to figure out how many times they want to throw it. How do they want to throw it? Where can they find balance? But again, the run game has been there tonight. As when I was saying, as advertised, been impressed with their line play up front. As you said, a couple different backs as well as Crabtree running it. They're on their way to almost a 200-yard night on the ground. Just not enough passing game to go with it to balance it, and then certainly not the defense and special teams they needed to bring with them here to Unioto.
2nd and 10, play blown dead. Some guys not quite set just yet before the snap. We'll move the Ironmen back 5 yards. The Ironmen will travel to Gallia Academy next week for a matchup with the Blue Devils. This is game 1 of 3 straight road games to start the season. Obviously here at Unioto tonight, at Gallia Academy next week, and then a trip to Ed Miller Stadium week 3 to face the Wheelersburg Pirates before they play their first home game in week 4.
Well, and again, you understand the schedule they're going to play in the Jackson football program, and it's always going to be elite because that's what they are. They're elite, and they'll take this film and they'll make the necessary improvements. It may not happen in the first 2 or 3 weeks. They may have some things they've got to iron through, but by the time they get to FAC play, I know that from experience through growing up in that conference that they'll have a product on the field that's going to set the standard in that conference more times than not.
Yeah, Jackson's won. I don't have the number right in front of me, but I think north of 25 straight against FAC opponents. So it's been a while since somebody's been able to take Jackson down in that conference. Certainly, they're still going to be a team that across the league, they're going to have them circled on their calendar, no doubt about it. If a timeout was called before the last play rather than a penalty. And I'll keep it at 2nd and 10.
Now, am I wrong in assuming you do know the last time they lost in the FAC?
I know one of us was on that team. I'll leave it at that. Crabtree taking a shot on 2nd down a little too long.
Yeah, you watch that ball come out of his hand there. All the physical tools are there. Again, this just is kind of a little out of character on who Jackson wants to be. And that's part of the growth, being able to play from out in front, being able to play from behind, all those different things, establishing an identity. Obviously, this Jackson team is going to be a bear to handle if they're the team out in front of you in the third, fourth quarter because of their ability to go to the ground game.
Hunter Long, the intended receiver on that incompletion, 3rd and 10. Here's a handoff to Ashton Seymour. Seymour lowers the shoulder. Some force on that carry to move the chains.
Yeah, good powerful run, good finish of the run there at the end.
I had it in my notes, 27 straight contests versus FAC opponents where Jackson has come out on top. Dating back to October 2nd of 2020, Crabtree rolling out, taking a shot downfield, incomplete, intended for Christian Gillum. Good coverage by Blake Braden. That pass a little too far.
That was very professional of you. I tried to tee you up there on the FAC win for you.
A 30-27 double overtime win for the Chillicothe Cavaliers in the COVID-shortened 2020 football season. Ever since then, Jackson has not lost a single contest against an FAC team. That counts 2 playoff games as well.
Yeah, that's impressive because, again, you're talking about some really, really good football teams over the years. Man, that FAC is going to be legit this year again. I had a chance to see Miami Trace last week. Obviously, Baker. Now, Miami Trace going through some injury situation at the quarterback position, but anytime you can turn and hand it to Baker 25, 30 times a night, that's not a bad strategy. And then, obviously, Carte Ligon and the talented group here at Chillicothe. And
I think this week 6 matchup for Jackson is going to be one that we circle on our calendar and find out just what type of team we're going to see from Jackson in this FAC slate when they welcome Miami Trace to Alumni Stadium for the FAC opener. 2nd and 10, Crabtree to throw, taking a shot downfield, this time for Kulner, a little offline. Yeah, the arm strength from Crabtree certainly been there, just kind of getting a little more of a rhythm with his receivers.
Yeah, and like I said, this is kind of a unique situation where they have to kind of air it out a little bit. Unioto's secondary knows it. Unioto's pass rush knows it. I think what they'll be able to find is they'll be able to find some things in the passing game that they can blend in off of some good play action and so forth. I agree with what you're saying there, Carson. About week 6, I think this would be really interesting to watch this team grow.
3rd down handoff. Ashton Seymour gets a few on that carry, but Yusuf Wilson and Jonah Renner tag team for the stop. Gain of about 2. That brings up 4th down.
Now, the scary thing about it on the other side, though, Carson, if I'm being fair, I really thought this Unioto team had a chance to be really good, but I personally thought it was more a 4 or 5 week down the road. This is really, really impressive on opening night, and this makes me really take my expectations to a whole nother level. I think we're watching a Unioto team that has every opportunity to run the table once again and do some special things.
Oh, what a catch by Christian Gillum, but they'll say he was out of bounds. I'll force another turnover on downs from this Ironmen offense. That was a great throw from Crabtree, just not able to connect in bounds. Gives the Shermans the ball back with 5:13 to kill before a week 1 win.
See, Unioto be able to get some different guys in and out of there. The thing of it is they already kind of do that throughout the night. We've seen a lot of that depth on display.
The Shermans will take over at their own 37. Coy takes a snap, the give to Yusuf Wilson. Wilson fights forward. Won't go down easily. It's a gain of about 2.
I certainly aren't going to be up here playing doctors. You always try to get out of week one as healthy as possible. Cramps and some of those bumps and bruises will be a part of it. But I think the Thursday night does present an advantage to these two teams, getting that extra day as they make that jump from week one to week two.
2nd and 8 at the 39. Hand off to Wilson. Again, Wilson through traffic. Gains about 2 or 3 on that carry. One thing I'll say is on offense, he hasn't had, the home run carries. He had the sack, scoop, and score right before halftime. But I love the running game from Yusuf Wilson, where he's not going to give you a home run every play, but he's going to put you in position to move the chains just about every time he touches the football.
I think what you're saying is a fair statement there. I think, again, Unioto on most nights going to dominate the line of scrimmage even more so than they have tonight. I think Jackson's been awfully good in the middle for the most part. But what I like about Wilson is he avoids the negative play. There's been a lot of times where he's been stuffed at the line of scrimmage and he'll still sneak his way in there to 1 or 2 yards. And, a lot of times just having 2nd and 8, 3rd and 6, especially with the talent of this Unioto offense, that's a big difference. Plus, it just offers a little bit of balance on the inside game. What you're going to see as the year goes on, Unioto's going to have a lot of matchups ahead where their front going to really dominate the line of scrimmage, and some of those running lanes are going to get that much bigger.
3rd and 5 at the 42. Henry Vallette, the deep man. Riker Larson motions from left to right for Unioto. Here's the handoff to Vallette. Vallette trying to get to the outside. Still going, lost the ball, and it rolls out of bounds. Jackson pursuing him like crazy. The ball comes out, thankfully. Rolls out of bounds. Unioto able to keep it. They'll bring out the punt team.
Well, and again, probably not going to be that big a factor tonight, but something you'll be able to put on film. Talented young running back who I think is going to be really, really important to the depth of this team. Just understanding time and score there. Can't try to do too much. The number one thing, once you see there's nothing there, is to get the ball turned back upfield and stay in bounds and run that clock. So not only could you fumble and turn it over, you end up costing time and score of about 40 seconds. Again, probably not a big deal tonight, but something you'll learn from in the film session.
Look ahead for Unioto. The Shermans will welcome Athens to town next Friday night. They'll travel to Waverly in week 3 before they open up SVC play week 4 against Southeastern. Low snap, Levi Beam gets the punt away. And it takes a bounce just beyond the 35-yard line where Jackson will take over.
Good job from Beam there to go down and scoop it and get it out of there to avoid disaster.
Don't forget, tomorrow night we will have our Kingston National Bank SVC Game of the Week at Zane Trace, the Pioneers, hosting Logan Elm in week 1 action. That will kick off at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll have some pregame coverage for you beforehand. Saturday at noon, we'll have volleyball action. Galley Academy hosting Unioto in a non-league battle. .343 to play. Jackson starting at their own 33. Trips to the right side of C.J. Crabtree. Flag down. Crabtree's pass complete on the far side by Tate Rosler.
Wide receiver on the near side, Carson. Started the shift and didn't reset.
If he realized he wasn't on the line of scrimmage, got up there and just not in time, so that'll move the Ironmen back 5. I think that's another thing too. We talked in the pregame, we talked throughout the first half about the turnover, the youth on this Jackson team, not the experience that the teams they've had in recent years past have had. And I think in that they'll learn a lot from this game. Some of those penalties they can clean up. Some of the turnovers are things that they can clean up. Just a lot to build off of for this young but hungry Jackson squad.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game flipped in the second quarter, and I think Jackson's competed just fine up front. In fact, they've probably been really good in some cases, but I think the Unioto skill positions that we thought that was the difference, and I think that's really been able to show itself here tonight.
Crabtree looked downfield for Dayton Callner. It was broken up by Lake and Langoff. I'll bring up 2nd and 15. We'll quickly step aside as a player is down. 3:31 to go. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
.331 left to play here at Unioto. Jackson facing a 2nd and 15 after the incompletion intended for Dayton Callner. Ironmen looking to salvage something out of this remaining 3.5 minutes. Unioto on its way to a statement week 1 win as Tate Rosler showing no signs of quit for the Ironmen. A nice carry through contact. He's another guy that's had himself a pretty nice night in that Jackson backfield. A 37-yard touchdown run earlier tonight to get the Ironmen on the board in the second half. The only points scored by Jackson here in the second half.
Yeah, more cramped situations here. And as we said, unfortunately, if you're not familiar with a lot of early season high school football, you see that quite a bit. Coaches try to scale back as much as they can in the preseason. Certainly understand why. Roster size is not real big, Carson. I hear a lot of coaches say, I like our team. We're right around 35, 40 on the roster, but if we lose 1 or 2 here, we're going to really hurt. You know what I mean? So you're obviously trying to protect your kids. As a result, they don't really play a 4-quarter style football game until week 1. So with the weather and then the conditioning part of it, week 1, week 2, even week 3 sometimes, unfortunately, this is part of what you see.
The clock winding down, coming up on 3 minutes to go. Empty backfield for CJ Crabtree. Crabtree under pressure, gets away. Crabtree still moving. Crabtree gonna do it himself and runs out of bounds. Chased out by Donzel Newland, and a flag comes out after the play.
Yeah, not anything over the top vicious. That's a pretty easy call. The one Unioto player led up, and then the quarterback's 2 or 3 steps out of bounds, and the contact was made. Again, nothing vicious over the top. Unioto coaching staff reacted immediately, so they were kind of seeing what I'm seeing. Again, not going to factor in on the scoreboard tonight, but in a close game throughout the year, that can really cost you. So good. A lot of these coachable moments is what you'll get from these situations.
And nobody ever looks perfect week 1. Whether it's penalties, whether it's just miscues on the field, you're always still working those kinks out early on. And for Unioto, like you said, a teachable moment after that penalty. Here's a handoff on the end around. This I believe that is, yes, Hunter Long getting the carry.
Good to see some younger kids get some carries, and you never know. You come in these situations, and in a blowout situation, running hard, catch coach's eye. It's a good way to get yourself more carries in the weeks to come.
Collner in motion, Crabtree faking the give. Crabtree down the seam, got Rosler open, incomplete.
Yeah, just a fraction off. That's a situation where receiver created about 5 yards of space, and that's a walk-in score, just unable to convert.
Now again, the arm strength from CJ Crabtree definitely been there tonight. Just gonna take a little more time to get in sync with some of his receivers. I thought that was a good route by Rosler. Just maybe need to adjust, turn your body, put yourself in better position to haul that in. 3rd and 3, Crabtree to throw again. Crabtree pass intended for Rosler near side, incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and 3.
Fourth down opportunity here for Unioto defense to put a cap on what's been a really impressive performance. They've given up some rushing yards, which you're going to do against this Jackson offensive front.
Man in motion. Crabtree fakes the give. Crabtree gonna keep it himself. Crabtree moves the chains and more. CJ Crabtree still going down inside the 10.
Impressive run there, about 33 yards.
No quit whatsoever from the senior signal caller.
Yeah, continues to compete hard. That's what you want out of your leaders. No matter what the scoreboard says, you want to compete and win the next play, and the quarterback certainly does that there. And look, you're trying to go put some points on the board and gain some momentums in the week to come. As we said, there's a lot of good football ahead for Jackson in the next 9 weeks.
1st and goal at the 9. Crabtree gonna keep it again, and CJ Crabtree walks in for a touchdown. A 9-yard carry to the end zone from CJ Crabtree. It's a Jackson touchdown, sponsored by the University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, 1:30 fourth quarter here. No quit in the Jackson leader there. Says the coaching staff, you really like that. Let's see if Jenkins can add another point on the board here.
Crabtree to hold. Crabtree gets it down, and Jenkins able to knock it through. 90 seconds to go here at Unioto. Jackson still showing a little bit of fight. A 9-yard keeper to the house for CJ Crabtree. His first rushing touchdown, his first touchdown overall on the season for the senior quarterback.
Yeah, I've been real impressed with the run game tonight. We highlighted a couple ball carries earlier in the game. I threw Crabtree right in there. His ability to pull that ball back and add to the run game between the tackles. That's certainly where Jackson has had its big success. Their rushing totals, when all said and done here, are going to end up being pretty impressive. But as I said, just too many mistakes in a couple situations in terms of short yardage offense and defense, and then some special team decisions and execution going to end up probably costing them. But look, still minute 30 to go here. Never know. We'll see what they come up with here.
Obviously, Unioto going to have their hands team out. Jackson going to try and steal a possession. Keep an eye on this. They got Crabtree here on the near side. 6'4", tallest player on the field. Going to look to try and get it into his hands, and Unioto is going to burn a timeout to talk things over before this onside kick.
Yeah, not a bad timeout here. Obviously, you don't want to mess around here and make this more interesting than it needs to be. So good timeout. You see where they line up. They're doing the same thing you're doing up here, right? They're taking a look and saying, hey, this guy's here. They might try this, and then you're wanting to try to have a counter for it. So good timeout, good chance for some situational football here.
Unioto special teams unit looking to get the ball back, close this game out. Like you said, still a minute 30. Anything, if Jackson gets this onside kick, you just never know what can happen.
Some of the food trucks think it's over. I hope John Bruce was able to get in and out of line down there and get the sandwich he wanted.
Yeah, really a nice touch, the atmosphere here on opening night.
No question, yeah.
All the pregame festivities. You see an RV out there in the far parking lot of this pregame tailgate. Tanner Jenkins for the onside kick for Jackson. Ball kicks up, and it's recovered by the Shermans. And that will all but wrap it up here at Unioto. Ray Langoff secures the onside kick, falls down immediately. And the Shermans have a minute 30 to kill.
Another young skill kid that you're going to hear about as the year goes on. It just, if there's one thing Unioto doesn't lack, it's depth at the wide receiver position. Hoy and company is going to have a nice year throwing the ball around the yard.
Yeah, I thought, we talked about this earlier. Isaac Coy, entering his third year of varsity football. He's just a winner. He goes out and does the things he needs to do to put his team in position to come out on top. Certainly did that and more tonight. And a good sign of what's to come this season for Unioto. Coy goes to a knee.
Yeah, this is going to be a well-deserved celebration on this Unioto sideline that's about ready to break out, because this has been one that's been circled on the calendar, as you said clear back on our pregame, Carson, that I think Unioto kind of wanted to test themselves and see, hey, are we ready to take this next step? And boy, did they answer that with a big-time yes this evening.
Now, as I've been saying, all the doubters, so to speak, have pointed at Unioto's strength of schedule, saying it's not good enough. Can they play with the best of the best in Southeast Ohio? And they have proved that tonight. Clock winding down, about a second difference between game clock and play clock. Unioto will quickly get back to the line. Coy goes to a knee, and that will wrap it up. There are 9 weeks left of high school football to be played, but week 1 is all about the U. The Shermans come out on top 35-21 over Jackson. Statement week 1 win on Thursday night.
Yeah, complete is the word I would use. I mean, up and down the roster, production from a whole lot of people. Your older guys, your experienced guys set the tone in a lot of different areas. They really showcase that depth at the skill position that we highlighted back in the pregame coverage. And then you throw in just a couple key plays that ended up taking momentum. I would go back to the fake punt that didn't go the way of Jackson. And then obviously the big-time defensive play from Wilson right before the half. Those are probably the two plays that I would highlight that bring us to this 14-point difference that we see on that final scoreboard there.
A highly anticipated matchup since last November sees Unioto come out on top of Jackson 35-21, your final. We'll step aside and come back for some post-game coverage here at Unioto. You're watching Ohio High School football here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
When your home needs comfort you can count on, turn to the team that's been here from the start. At Affordable Air, you'll meet friendly faces with expert advice, working to keep your system running top-notch or helping you find a new heating and cooling solution that keeps your home comfortable without breaking the bank. Earning your trust every visit, every call, and giving you peace of mind you deserve. Call us today. Affordable Air Heating and Cooling, where affordability meets integrity.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm James.
We want to thank you for continuing to make the Root Sports and Fitness Center your headquarters for youth sports in Southern Ohio.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
You get a look there at Unioto celebrating with their student section and marching band, and a well-deserved one. 35-21, Unioto takes down Jackson on this Thursday night Week 1 showdown. Carson Francis and Shane Combs back with you. Shane, we said it all game. This was a matchup that we had been waiting on since it was scheduled last November, and we, you ask anybody close to Sosa, close to our area, could have told you this game could have gone either way. It's Unioto that comes out on top, and a well-fought, hard-fought, well-deserved win for the Shermans to start the year off.
Yeah, it really was. I think if you go to the stat sheet, Carson, you'll see what both teams want to be this year, and both teams were that for most of the evening on the offensive side. Jackson, they push up around 250 yards rushing. I was real impressed with their offensive line play. I was impressed with a couple of their young backs, even their quarterback and their ability to run the football. Schindler ran the ball hard. Obviously, Rosler ran it hard. Crabtree ran it hard. In behind that offensive line, Jay Sturgill, Colin Landrum, Cohen Oyer, Cade Gomez, and Seth Taylor. I thought they did a super job. Again, almost up around 250 yards. They put 21 points on the board. Over on the Unioto side, led by their experienced quarterback, Isaac Coy. Had him up around 12 of 20, up over 200 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns. He ran for another. I think he targeted 6, maybe 7 wide receivers, completed a pass to 5 different Shermans, touchdown pass to Harsha, and another one to Beam. Beam was really big tonight. 6 catches, 147, the 56-yard touchdown. But remember, he also had a 22-yard wide receiver screen right when they needed the momentum back. Also had a big 29-yard pass play to convert a first down. Thought those were big plays. So when you look at the stat sheet and you say, well, Unioto's 14 points better on the scoreboard, why is that? In my opinion, you go situational football. You go back to the middle of the second quarter, it's 7-7. You had a fake punt deep in the territory. It doesn't go Jackson's way. And then Unioto just was a little bit better situational. Remember, Jackson had the 4th and 1 play early in the game. They didn't convert. Unioto had the 4th and 1 there, the goal situation. They get it in. Wilson follows that touchdown up with the big defensive play, the sack, the scoop, and the score. And I don't know how you feel about it, Carson, but I felt like that 14-point swing from Wilson, 7 offense, 7 defense, is really the 14-point difference that we ended up with at the end of the night.
Absolutely. And Shane, want to talk a little bit about where both of these teams go from here. You know, this is a big statement win. Can say it till I'm blue in the face. Big win for Unioto. But now they've upped the standard for themselves. You beat a top 3 program year in, year out in Southeast Ohio. And now the target is all the more on your back. How do they build off of this one going forward? They get Athens coming to town next week, travel to Waverly the week after that before they open up SVC play with Southeastern.
I don't want to speak for them. I think they would welcome it. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I say that in a very confident way. I would think, look, with what they've accomplished over the last 2 to 3 years, they've really started to separate themselves in the Side of Valley Conference. I think scheduling a game like this in week 1 had more to do with what you want to become. And when you come out tonight and you play that well and you get a win, I would think, as you said, that ups the expectation a little bit more. That ups the standard, and you want to try to really roll with this and go. So yeah, I mean, I think Unioto it was going to welcome the bullseye, and they want to continue to grow and chase not only the regular season success, but that postseason success.
Absolutely. And then looking over for Jackson, it's familiar territory to a certain degree. A program of that magnitude, no stranger to adversity, but unfamiliar territory in the sense that Jackson starts the season 0-1 for the first time since 2010, playing from behind on their schedule. How do they rebound off of this one? Certainly, we talked about this, a lot to build off of. But how does Jackson transition to week 2 at Gallia Academy?
Well, I think they're going to look in the mirror and look at some of those situations where the game flipped and just ask themselves where they can be better. Identity-wise, they certainly had the ability to hang their hat on the run game and that offensive line and 2 or 3 guys that can run it well. Defensively, at times, I didn't think they were all that bad tonight. I thought they were pretty good against the run. I just thought they really lost out on a couple situations that ended up catching up with them. Keep in mind, Jackson went through, ended up taking some lumps early last year. And I know that Coach Hall was frustrated with some of their physicality and so forth in the first 2 or 3 weeks. And obviously they got it right as they got closer to league play. I think you'll see the same thing. I think this Jackson team is going to go on to win a heck of a lot more than they lose. It's just going to take some time. And I think you'll see a lot of growth here in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And that schedule of theirs is certainly something that's going to be telling of what kind of Jackson team we'll see at the end of this season. Kind of touched on it earlier. They go to Gallia Academy next week, and then they're at Wheelersburg the week after. So 3 straight road games to start off the year, and then they come home and face Western Brown, and then a team that I know is going to be really angry, playing with their hair on fire, and that's Ironton, week 5 before they start league play with Miami Trace. So definitely no easy outs, to say the least, for the Ironmen. But I think as this team continues to take the field every Friday night, we're going to see, they can only build off of tonight. It's only gonna go up from here. I'm sure that if you're Jackson, you're disappointed in the result, but you have to be confident in some of the positives that you saw on the field tonight?
Scheduling goes both ways, Carson. You talk about, teams wanting to up their schedule and get better. Well, there's no upping your schedule for Jackson because they play the schedule every year. You just rattled off a schedule to where if Jackson wins more than they lose, that's a really good season. Now you can go out. This Jackson team's plenty good enough. You could have went out and it wouldn't have been that hard to schedule 5 games in the non-league. They were going to go 5-0 in, right? That's just not who they are. They play those teams every year. So yeah, are they going to go through a few more lumps here and there? Probably. But again, I just think that that they'll go on to play at a really high level and get better. I'm really anxious. We're going to have them maybe later in the year. I'm really anxious to see them about a month and a half down the road to see what this team looks like.
Absolutely. Well, one final time, Unioto comes out on top of Jackson, 35-21. I'll remind you, tomorrow night, the first Friday night of the 2026 season, we'll have our Kingston National Bank SVC Game of the Week. Logan Elm traveling to Zane Trace. Shane, excited for that one. Should be another great matchup between two teams that are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, and two teams that, watching them in the preseason, going to play with great physicality up front. Early in the year, we talk about fatigue. That'll be something to keep an eye on because I really look for two teams that try to, you want to talk about getting stubborn and establishing the line of scrimmage. Those are two teams that like to pound the rock.
So that'll wrap us up tonight from Unioto. One more time, want to give a huge shout out to Holzer Health System for being our new title sponsor this season. To learn more about Holzer Health System or to find a location near you, visit their website at holzer.org or check out their social media pages on Facebook or Instagram. Unioto knocks off Jackson 35-21 to kick off the 2026 season. From Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay, I'm Carson Francis. We thank you for tuning in to tonight's presentation of Ohio High School Football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Holzer Health System. Enjoy the rest of your evening.